When men fail to lead, the children rebel and the women take over.
Hit that like button and share this stream if you're not a beta male.
No better if we just let it be.
Give the people what they want.
Many men wish death upon me. Blood in my eye, darling, I can't see. I'm trying to be what I'm destined to be. And niggas trying to take my life away from me. I put a hole in the nigga for fucking with me. My back on the wall, now you, cause I'll come and take your life away. Many men, many men wish death on me, Lord. I don't cry no more. Don't look to the sky no more. Have mercy on me. These pussy niggas put money on my head. Get your beef from motherfucker, I ain't Jay. I'm the diamond in the dirt that ain't been found. I'm the underground king, and I ain't been crowned. When I round, something special happen every time. I'm the greatest, something like Ali in his prime. I walk the block with the bundles, I've been knocked on the humble. Swing the ox when I rumble, show your ass from a gun. Got a temper, nigga, go ahead, lose your hate. Turn your back on me, get clapped and lose your legs. I walk around, gun on my waist, chip on my shoulder, top bunch of clip in your face. Close to this beef, ain't no many men. Many men wish death upon me, Lord. I don't cry no more. Don't look to the sky no more. Have mercy on me and have mercy on my soul. Somewhere my rock.
Disrupt the lives of every person who calls this country home. The Department of Education would be eliminated, cutting students off from civil rights protections and ending essential Title I funding for K-12 schools. The Department of Justice would go on a murdering spree. It would rush to use the death penalty and expand its use to even more people while circumventing due process protections. Project 25 not only calls for national book bans in schools, but also creates a list of banned words for the federal government that would be deleted from, quote, every federal rule, agency regulation, contract, grant, and piece of legislation that exists.
Why politicians lie?
You want to be mad at, but you ain't mad at Trump.
Man, shut up, coon. What you got to say about Project 2025?
Have you heard of Agenda 47?
Say what?
Agenda 47.
Nah.
It's the actual platform that Trump is going to push when he becomes president. It's listed on his official campaign website. Project 2025 is not to be found there. Matter of fact, Project 2025 was created by a conservative think tank named the Heritage Foundation.
It's supposed to make it illegal to be
homeless. Has nothing to do with Trump. Trump has neither endorsed nor supported this platform. He has his own.
But I saw on BET.
I don't care what any Hollywood elite or BET Awards show hosted by Taraji P. Henson have told you about Project 2025. It is not a talking point of President Trump's campaign, nor is it something that he's interested in. It's just another tool to fearmonger you and to just continue to vote for the same people over and over again and never breaking the cycle of chaos that we see within the black
community. Watch Sleepy Joe call Trump vice president. It's time for Joe to go in 2024.
I wouldn't have picked Vice President Trump to be vice president, but I think she was not qualified to be president. So let's start there.
I haven't got a brain, only straw.
How can you talk if you haven't got a brain?
I don't know. But some people without brains do an awful lot of talking, don't they?
Yes, I guess you're right.
Politics is like a big game of decision-making. It's how people organize themselves and make choices about how to run their community or country. People in politics can be leaders or members of a group that tries to influence these decisions. They talk about important issues like laws, taxes, and how resources are used. So, when you hear about politics, it's about people trying to make things work for everyone in society. It's like a puzzle where everyone's opinions and ideas come together to create a picture of how things should be done. Political gaslighting is when a person in power manipulates the truth to make others doubt their own beliefs or memories. It's like being told the sky is green so many times that you start to question if it's true. This tactic is used to disorient and control people, making them easier to influence. By understanding gaslighting, individuals can recognize when it's happening and protect themselves from its harmful effects.
Your incarceration rate is down, the education rate is up. We up. We went from a group of men who were brought to this country in the hulls of slave ships. I know we got the pretendians out there. They're saying that we still here, but the DNA test says otherwise, just like your baby mama. So, for my brothers who know their history and know where we came from and know what we've been through for hundreds of years, the fact that over 60% of black men have now reached the middle class your seed is the most important thing that you produce in this world. It's not the art that you produce. It's not the buildings that you create. It's not the amount of money you make. It's not the amount of people who like you. It is your legacy.
But since we don't live in our culture no more, we say what we want to say, do what we want to say. We tear our men down and then wonder why they don't make good husbands and fathers. Mothers destroy sons. His mother can speak to him in certain ways that destroy him in ways that can never be repaired.
Salute the black men.
Started with mama issues, afraid to question anything, that was that bitch in you. Grown-ass men, we letting this shit continue. Adolescent feminine ways, why men offend you. Mama boy, she love thugs, her secret lover. That's why she keep these niggas inside the covers. Put the nigga aside, homie, I'm your brother. Close father saving us, having the same mother. Iron sharpens iron, we learning from one another. No jealousy or envy, going through life struggles. You told your mama you was outside, wanted to hang. Now you wearing colors and just joined the gang. No money, so the OGs taught you how to slang. Jackets rolled up and all you heard was bang. On the side of the curb, leaking out your brains. Quiet women sing, singing mamas once again. Black men, we gotta change. Salute the black men. We number one if you talking about top 10. I salute the black men. Child support kids don't belong to him. I salute the black men. She lied on you and sent you to the pen. I salute the black men. Dealing with the pressure and oppressor getting lesser cause we deserve the best of. Coming home from work and life issues, I just want a meal, end up with fights with you. You just need to chill, remember I'm right with you. So fucking masculine swinging and I ain't hit you. What's your fucking issue? You don't love me, you love what I can get you. Don't let the kids you love be in the bitch you. 911 police saying I hit you. I got video footage, you lying bitch you. Why you think we locked up ops is with you? Making love to the enemy out to get you. That big ass and a smile might convince you. Graveyards that's filled, we on the menu. Penitentiaries packed, men continue to be the simps and she provided the venue. No respect, so black men we've been through. Nigga,
Black fathers are more likely to help their children with their homework, prepare meals, bathe and dress their children compared to fathers of other races. So the absent or deadbeat black father myth that many in America believe is really more like a lie.
The black men, we number one if you talking about top 10. I salute the black men. Child support kids don't belong to him. I salute the black men. She lied on you and sent you to the pen. I salute the black men. Dealing with the pressure and oppressor getting lesser cause we deserve the best. Salute the black men. We number one if you talking about top 10. I salute the black men. Child support kids don't belong to him. I salute the black men. She lied on you and sent you to the pen. I salute the black men. Dealing with the pressure and oppressor getting lesser cause we deserve the best of.
Salute the black men.
I salute.
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 Salute the black men.
to salute. Fuck Joe Biden.
I like that. Salute the black man.
What's behind the phenomenon of Donald? What's behind the phenomenon of Donald J. Trump? The former 45th president of the United States had a recent assassination attempt on his life. Is America going through an existentialist crisis? And if so, what does it mean to many men and women that have or hold traditional values? One could argue that Trump is an avatar because the person that was part of trying to take his life is a Republican. We said before in the past that many Republicans are Republicans in name only. And the person that attempted to more or less kill President Trump appears to be a Republican, in name only. And if that's the case, how is that a threat to what we already knew and understand about former President Trump? In this show, we will explore the dynamics of why black men are voting for Trump and black women are voting for Trump, and why Trump is just an avatar of the Republican Party, but he's not necessarily a Republican. Are black people voting for Trump because they're voting for Republican politics or partisan politics of the Republican Party? Or are many people voting for President Trump or former President Trump because they understand the power behind the avatar, and the power behind the avatar that represents the Republican Party really is part of the commonality or the fabric or the thread of America? You cannot more or less be deceived and more or less be inspired by a man being shot in his ear, but standing up valiantly, more or less posing to his detractors and saying defiantly, you will not stop me. And so I think the reason why so many men are beginning to vote for Trump is because Trump represents the last vestige of traditional masculinity. Join me live as we break down this show and more or less make a determination of why so many have animus towards the former president, Donald J. Trump. Hit that like button and share this stream if you're not a beta male. Fire for your mind. Culture clinician.
If it ain't seven, it ain't kosher. Heaven and hell, that's what they told you. Real men put the strap down and we can toss them. Young heads picking back up and young dolphins. This is our culture. Now we talking kosher. Clinician, masculinity issues, asking fathers who miss you, mama drama don't kiss you, all a part of the ritual, this is how they get you, separate the men, women clipping babies pretend to, damn, lovers, haters, acting like vultures, if it ain't seven, it ain't kosher, if it ain't kosher, ain't right, gotta divorce us, if it ain't seven, it ain't kosher, if it ain't kosher, ain't right, gotta divorce us, if it ain't seven, it ain't kosher, if it ain't kosher, ain't right, gotta divorce us. This is kosher condition. 7 wonders, the whole world gotta listen. This is kosher condition. 7 wonders, the whole world gotta listen. This is kosher condition. 7 wonders, the whole world gotta listen. This is kosher condition. 7 wonders, the whole world gotta listen. Listen.
All right, guys. Thank you to the 10 that are watching. We're going to have a good show, guys. We're going to have a great show on today. I wanted to touch on this show, guys, because there's so much to add to the conversation around the former president, Donald J. Trump, why he was shot, why the oligarchs and the political elites don't like Donald J. Trump, and what this means to traditional masculinity.
Inspired by MFK's.
And we're going to get into it, guys. We're going to get into it, guys, because traditional masculinity is faltering as we speak. And as we get closer and closer to this election, I did a show on yesterday talking about politics. And politics is called a byproduct of political gaslighting. Politicians, their job is to influence you. And many times in the process of influence, they will use manipulation to control you. Many in the news media will use manipulation to control you. But see, here's the problem. whether you like Donald Trump or not is not the issue, because I don't think people are voting for Donald Trump, black men and black women that are traditional, because he's a Republican. And I'm going to do a response to my dear friend Do the Fire podcast. But they're voting for Trump because they see Trump as being the last icon of what America was, but also Trump would not bow down to the political elites. And, you know, Richard Mack, my good friend of mine, got into some consternation here recently where I call the guy Bowser the Bully. And Richard didn't back down. He didn't back down. And many times, guys, you got to hit a bully straight in his mouth, because some will say this, don't do anything or walk away. But no, in the pursuit of truth, in the pursuit of liberty, the pursuit of power, there are times when you have to speak truth to power and don't waver in your convictions. And many will argue that's what Donald J. Trump has done. And so I'm going to use this show as a means to respond to my dear friend Do the Fire podcast, but also to talk about other topics germane to what's going on, but also why so many black men identify with Trump, why Amber Rose, herself, is beginning to identify with Trump, and why the liberal elites want Trump out of the way as they seek to usher in a new world order. Now, before we get deep into the show, I want to send a special shout out to my man, Perfect Blackness, for that, becoming a YouTube member. Thank you, Perfect Blackness, for becoming a YouTube member. Shout out to Armanize and JL on 504 HD. Shout out to that brother. And guys, do me a favor, share this stream, because this is going to be a good show. Shout out to the 9 that are watching. Hopefully, the numbers will start coming in at some point. But if they don't, I don't care. We're going to tell the truth on today and have a comprehensive show where men more or less explore and examine why so many black men are beginning to vote for Trump and why the liberal elites want Trump dead. I've always said that when men fail to lead, the children rebel and the women take over. And what you guys are seeing manifest before your eyes is something spiritual in my best estimation. Not only is it spiritual, but it's also by design to destroy what once was a strong America. America is frail. America is on her last leg. And the powers that be want to continue to try to destroy America. And you know what I find so baffling, guys? I talked about it on yesterday when it comes down to political gaslighting, which is a form of psychological manipulation and social engineering. After inflation, after illegal immigration, and after so many other things, so many people are still in denial about what's going on in this country. Many are in denial about what's going on in this country. And you know, I saw some of the crude comments. You don't have to like Trump, but to wish death on the man, in my mind, is problematic. Shout out to my man, Do the Fire. That's my homie, Do the Fire podcast, man. We're going to kill it on the day, brother. And the reason why I decided to use Do the Fire podcast and talk about him, he did a prolific show, guys, recently, about 2 weeks ago, and I chatted with him in the back. And I like some of his talking points, because I think that his talking points are not only germane, but his talking points are also salient to the issues that are confronting not only black men, but also the greater black community. And so his talking points were very powerful when he gave his strong pronouncements about the Republican Party, how the Republican Party or the Democratic Party were the Dixiecrats, and how the Dixiecrats fell off and became part of the Republican Party. But I'm going to review some of Do the Fire podcast work, and we're going to break down some of his talking points and let you guys add insight if you guys have any questions to what Do the Fire is talking about. And then we're going to more or less share why so many have animus towards Donald J. Trump, and why this latest iteration is more or less a reflection of what so many men are going through in America, so many traditional black women are going through in America, and how the powers that be are doing everything in their power to not only usurp traditional heteronormative masculinity, but to silence good women as well. And so, guys, we're going to get deep into it. But I'm going to show you guys this clip that I created or recreated, and this was telling for the show, and it's going to prove my point about why so many black men are beginning to vote for Donald J. Trump.
I know better if we just let it be.
give the people what they want.
Many men wish death upon me. Blood in my eye, darling, I can't see. I'm trying to be what I'm destined to be. And niggas trying to take my life away from me. I put a hole in the nigga for fucking with me. My back on the wall, now you, cause I'll come and take your life away. Many men, many men wish death on me, Lord. I don't cry no more. Don't look to the sky no more. Have mercy on me. And these pussy niggas put money on my head. Go on, get your beef from motherfucker. I ain't Jay. I'm the diamond in the dirt that ain't been found. I'm the underground king, and I ain't been crowned. When I ride, something special happen every time. I'm the greatest. Something like Ali in his prime. I walk the block with the bundles. I've been knocked on the humble. Swing the ox when I rumble. Show your ass from a gun. Got a temper, nigga. Go ahead. Lose your hate. Turn your back on me. Get clapped and lose your legs. I walk around, gun on my waist. Chip on my shoulder. Try to bust a clip in your face. Close to this beef ain't no. Many men. Many men wish death upon me, Lord. I don't cry no more. Don't look to the sky no more. Have mercy only, and have mercy on my soul. Somewhere my rock
disrupt the lives of.
All right, they wish death on him. Shout out to my man, Peaceful Life, also in the background. But guys, we're gonna break this thing down. TJ, thank you, brother, for coming on, man. I really appreciate it. But this is a parrot to the excellent show that you did about a week ago, and you brought about some powerful points. And we're gonna go back over your show in a minute and play some of your clips. But what did you think about? What was your visceral response through the fire, or TJ, about the attempted assassination of Donald J. Trump and everything we talk about as traditional men in this current climate that we live in? Go ahead, brother.
Well, I didn't learn about. I learned about the shooting 5 minutes before I walked into work last night. Mm-hmm. So first of all, I didn't believe, because it was I got like a clip, so I really didn't believe it until I actually got a chance to sit down and actually look at the news while I was at work about it, and I wasn't surprised, mm-hmm. given the how the emotion that Donald Trump evokes mm-hmm. in this country, the visceral. Mm-hmm. He doesn't really invoke a lot of neutral feelings. It's visceral on either side. They're either rabid supporters or they're rabid haters. So when you got a figure that's that polarizing on those extremes, and mostly on those extremes, then I'm surprised the attempt hasn't been made sooner.
Right. Yeah, I agree with you, brother. They wish death on him, and I agree with you 100% that I'm surprised it didn't happen sooner as well. But this is important, TJ, because you and I talk often sometime in the back, and this is important for a myriad of reasons. You talked about, TJ, extensively how the Democratic Party have used Black women, or women in general, as agent provocateurs against the greater Black American fabric, especially as it relates to the family. And many times around election time, TJ, they begin to use subversive techniques. I call it political gaslighting, or I call it also politricks. Politricks is really what you were talking about, more or less. And then what it does, they use what's called social jamming to keep selling you a narrative that a situation is imminent, but really many times the situation is not as bad as they're trying to project. And we're going to get into it in a minute about this Project 2020 that a good friend of mine asked me to talk about on yesterday. But, you extensively use surgical execution, in my opinion, and I'm going to pull it up in a minute, to talk about how Democrats, or just politicians in general, because you were very neutral, use subversive techniques to more or less keep people in a tizzy. Tell me why you did what you did and why it's so profound as we get closer to this election.
Well, that's actually was that stream last week was part 1. I'm going to be doing part 2 next week. My goal was, there's a lot of black women out here who can't understand, and they're flabbergasted why they're hearing so many black men might be lining up to vote behind Trump this year. And I actually agree that it's going to happen. The polls have it showing that about 20% of black men are going to vote for Donald Trump. I actually think it's somewhere around 35 to 37%.
Right.
That's going to show up. I actually think it's going to be a massive wave of black men going to Donald Trump. So with me trying to explain to black women why this is happening, they don't want to listen. They don't care.
Yes.
They just want us to do what they say do.
Yes, sir.
And they're not interested in listening. Now, the reason why I'm doing this 2-part stream, because if I would have kept going, I had another 3 hours in me on that subject. But the reason why I wanted to do the stream the way I'm doing it, I don't care. I should say I don't care. But who you vote for is of no, I don't care who you vote for.
Right.
I want black men to understand, to vote for the person or the cause that they're voting for. I want them to vote with their eyes wide open.
Right.
Because both of these political parties come in and they will take advantage of the division and the frustration and the pain. And so I want brothers, I did my stream the way I'm doing it on that subject. I want brothers to go in there knowing wide open what you're voting for and understand how they view you. If your eyes are wide open, you understand how they view you. If you know what they're doing, and then you cast your vote in the way you cast it, so be it. But I don't want brothers. I don't want people, especially people who share my reflection, casting a vote. You know what I mean? In the dark. That's why I kept saying through my stream last week. Those of you go back and just watch some of the clips, the clips that I have. I kept emphasizing that both of these parties are simply playing in our face. Both of them are. They're playing in our face, and they're taking advantage of the fact that there's a division in amongst blacks. They're taking advantage of the frustrations, you know what I mean? And they all want power. And so I want to just really tackle that piece of it, not whether if Mr. Democrat is bad or Mr. Republican is bad, but I want to attack why they're coming and trying to seek your vote. And I wanted to, also emphasize, that I believe the Democratic Party is more insidious because they're promoting a narrative that keeps black homes split.
Yes, right.
They're and they're look. Let me tell you something about when the devil. We can take this back to Adam and Eve. When the devil wants to destroy, and he has a 10 toes down man standing in front of him that cannot be moved, the devil goes after that man's wife, that man's woman. Look at Adam, you know what I mean? And who was it? And look at Job. Both of these men could not be shook, could not be tempted, could not be wavered. And when he did, and when the devil found that out, what did he do? He turned his attention to the woman. And the woman and the woman is very susceptible.
Yes.
Very susceptible, to shysters and slick talking. We see that every day.
We see it every day.
Well, how do you think we got so many baby mamas that our black women are sharing the same goddamn man, having kids by the same man? Because they are open, they're susceptible to that kind of rhetoric, whatever make them feel good. Most men, most 10 toes down men, they're susceptible to the things that are good, not necessarily what feels good, but what is good.
No doubt. Guys, do me a favor. This is going to be a great show. Share this stream. Go check out Peaceful Life and subscribe to him. Also, go subscribe to Through the Fire podcast. We're going to have hopefully some men come up to ask my man TJ questions on this prolific show that he did. But guys, share the content and donate. It takes a lot of work putting this stuff together, guys. And listen, I know there's only 19 people in, but if you like what me and TJ are doing in this epic live stream, share the show or share the stream and donate. And shout out to Perfect Blackness for being a member. I really appreciate that. But Peace of Life, Brother TJ is saying something that's very profound and prolific, and I happen to agree with him. Now, I've said several times that I am apolitical. I don't care for either party because I believe since the inceptions of America, neither party have been more or less for those of ADOS or African descent. So this is not a new phenomenon. No party or body politic have really been for the concerns of people of African descent. But TJ made a point about many of our women being subverted by the snake whisperer. And the snake whisperer many times in the form of liberalisms and liberal dogmas due to liberal indoctrination. What do you say to TJ about his pronouncements about this insidiousness of the democratic politic and why men should be apolitical and choose policies that are consistent with tradition and also heteronormative masculinity? Go ahead, brother.
Hey, salute to you, brother. Salute to everybody in the chat. And brother TJ, salute to you as well, man. I appreciate your content and I've listened to it, man. And I totally agree with the brother. And I think we can go all the way back to 65 and on up with the Great New Society with Lyndon Baines Johnson. We can look at the way our women have voted in line with a lot of policies that are anti-family, anti-community, and just to be downright honest, anti-man. So, and we see the narrative being pushed by radical, corporate-sponsored radical feminism, and that narrative in the Black community and the destruction that's being created by it, especially with all these single-parent household. They have created themselves a matriarchal culture, and we always use the term hyena culture, but where they expect men to be submissive to the women and to lock in step with the women, even for policies that's anti-family and that are not even in the best interest of the men themselves. And I think men are finally, with all these men's content out here, and starting to break away from that programming a little bit, and that's why we see a change now, especially with the economy. Nobody's, people, when it hurts people in the pocket, he who feels it knows it. And when you start feeling the effects with inflation, things are high. And we even have many of our women themselves feeling the pinch and realizing after working for so many years in these cubicles that even the things that they support was a lie to them, but they're not willing to give up the baby deletion policies. They're not willing to give up power. Right. The programs that favor women, all of the benefits that they get to be in front of the line. It's hard to give up power, but at the same time, you're losing power because the economic power that comes with family is being lost. And it could be no more evident now with this radical increase in some of them is manufactured and exploited, but the increase in consumer goods, it's a breaking point now. And I think we're having this shakeup right now in the country financially, and it's so polarizing with the politics. We could expect something like that would have happened, but it's also shocking to see that somebody actually took the swing, took the shot. That was tough. That was and a 20-year-old kid, not 20-year-old grown man, and that's a part of societal failure too. So it's crazy, man.
Yeah, excellent point. And that's what I want to add to what Brother TJ is saying, because I don't think Black men are voting for Republicans for the sake of them being Republicans. And his point, I think what he did was very surgical, but I think they're voting for Trump because of what Trump represents. That's why I titled the show Trump the Avatar. Because Trump is just an avatar for the Republican Party. But many Republicans are Republicans in name only based on the person trying to take this man out. Trump is just an avatar. He's just an avatar projecting the Republican Party. But in reality, Trump represents traditional masculinity. He represents the Mavericks like John Wayne of yesterday. He represents the 50 Cents of the world. And I understand what Brother TJ was saying about, like maybe the Democratic Party using hot sauce to more or less subvert white people, then using movie stars to subvert black folks. Very excellent points. But TJ, I'm going to pull something up. And guys, do me a favor, share this stream, donate to the channel. This is going to be an epic stream. TJ took the time out of his day to come on the show. It was at the last minute, but him and I talked about it. And I'm grateful that he came on. But I thought the show was so good, I want to share it with you guys in a minute. And also, guys, they wish death on Trump. Not only did they wish death on Trump, they're wishing death on black men. Because the reason why so many people or black men identify with Trump, because they've been on witch hunts. They've been in the HR office. They've lost their jobs. They've been accused multiple times. And many times they wanted black men to bow down. But every time they tried to make them bow, they stood up even more resilient, and they fought the power. And they said that we will not bow down, even on up to death, like men did years ago. Back in the past, men stood on business. Men stood on principle. And I did a show talking about Richie, and I called that guy Tom Young the Chong Bowser of Mario Brothers. It becomes a point where you got to hit a bully in the mouth. And I think what men are saying now, we're tired of being bullied around. We're tired of being quiet. We're tired of being censored. But I'm going to pull TJ's show up, and I want you guys to, we're gonna chop it up a little bit. Hold tight.
Any black person is that black women get to be a stay-at-home mama is a fucking lie.
Hold on for a minute.
That is not what makes you a traditional woman if you get to sit at home and not fucking work. Because during the late 50s, 60s, and 70s, grandma and great-grandma punk asses were working at a 60% rate. So only 40% of black women were stay-at-home. The overwhelming majority of black women, just like today, were in the goddamn workforce. And they still were traditional women. They went into the workforce. They earned a goddamn paycheck. They brought it.
TJ, you was on fire, man.
Yeah, man, you make it seem worse by speeding it up.
Yeah, it's long. You talking about you because you're talking fast?
Yeah, you speeding it up.
He's like right, though.
But no, he is right. And let me get into it. Hold on, put on 1.25 because it's long. But it is right. What's up, the Orange Peel Nurse? It is right, TJ. And I've said before in the past, many times women say they can't rest in their femininity because they got to work. And Catherine went to work. Your grandma Gertrude went to work. They all went to work. They went to work and they were still traditional feminine women. Right. But what prompted you to add clarity to that, TJ? Because it was true. And we're going to get back to it in a minute. Go ahead.
What did I say that? Ask me that again.
What prompted you, even though I have talked about it before in the past, but what prompted you to add clarity to that point of the conversation? Because you were 100% correct about this nonsense about not having to work and resting in your femininity.
Well, because that's the argument that they use is the fact that, here's the term that they use. I had to do it by myself. I have to carry the load. I have to. No, the F you don't. You're choosing to. You absolutely choosing to. And this narrative, and then the other talking point that really got me fired up about this was them, our women talking about they'll be feminine if you let me sit at home. You'll be feminine if I'm a stay-at-home. If I could be a stay-at-home, a man who can't bring his make his wife his woman be a stay-at-home wife, and he doesn't deserve a feminine man. What the hell you talking about?
Right.
Nowhere in the history of blacks in this country where black women stay at home mothers en masse, even when they was kicking our asses up and down the cotton and tobacco fields.
I totally agree.
Our women were out there working right alongside of us.
Yes, sir, they were. I agree.
And also, they didn't get. Now, our women didn't get the ass whoopers that we got. I mean, they got them, but they didn't get them like we got them.
Right.
They didn't get them like, especially if that owner was sweet on that woman. Mm-hmm. She actually got more. And then when she had the owner's children, that black man was forced to raise them.
Mm-hmm.
Raise his captor's children that he had with his woman. That's crazy. So no, this whole notion that that my biggest point was the fact that, you know, when I was trying to make this point was that the feminist movement, the white women, convinced black women that they had the same damn issues, and they didn't.
They didn't, right?
They didn't. White women, I said it on my, I don't know if it was in this clip, I said it in there. I said, listen, the only thing white women wanted, they wanted a bigger allowance. That's why they got all up in the uproar.
Mm-hmm.
They wanted a bigger damn allowance out of their men, and their men was like, no, you get what I give you. That's what caused the white women to get all worked up, because when the feminist movement, when white women got what they wanted out of the feminist movement, people don't understand, affirmative action wasn't even for black folk. That was for white women too, because they were the biggest beneficiaries of affirmative action. When white women started having the ability to earn their own paycheck, them hoes went back home to their husbands. They went home to their husbands and brought that money to their husbands.
Right.
That's it. What did black women do? The absolute opposite.
No, I totally agree, guys.
Yeah, that's it.
This is gonna be an epic show, man, guys. Donate to this channel. Don't let TJ and Peaceful Light come on here, guys. Y'all donate to the channel. We're gonna add a lot of clarity to this show. Hold tight, because I want to talk about some more. Let this run and what Brother TJ is saying. Hold tight.
At home, and guess what they never did to their husbands? They never talked about a fucking 50-50. They never referred to their husbands as my partner. I'll submit if you make me a housewife.
Right,
you fucking bitches can go choke on some arsenic.
Come on, TJ. TJ, you're a gangster, man. Hold on. TJ, a gangster. Hold on.
Yeah,
go ahead, Gates. Go ahead,
for the
TJ.
part that they missed, what I was saying was back when our grandmothers and great grandmothers were in the workforce and they brought a check home, they didn't come home and lord that check over their husband. And they didn't come home and say, oh, because I'm earning a check too, you run my bath water, you cook my meal too. Them women came home and still did their duty in their home.
Right.
And what a lot of our women don't understand is because most of our grandmothers or great grandmothers were so good at their duty, when the man brought his check home, that check was turned over to grandmama and great grandmama.
Right. It was, right.
My grandfather, who's alive right now, he's 86 years old. All he talks about is when he got his payday, he brought his check and laid it on the damn dresser. And then the next day, she gave him his allowance out of the money. She managed to finance the home, but what he told me, he goes, but let me tell you something. If I needed something and there wasn't nothing there, it was going to be a problem. That's what he said. He said, he goes, yeah, she managed the money, but if something needed to be happened, someone done, or I needed some extra, or something needed, or the car broke down, if I told her we needed to do something and the money wasn't there, there's going to be a problem.
Right. Right. No, I agree, man. I agree. And you know what? It's baffling how so many of our women were hoodwinked. And you talked about something earlier, TJ, and I'm going to get it in a minute. But in the meantime, shout out to the Orange Pill Nurses. He's the #1 sponsor of the stream. The Orange Pill Nurse said, smart for Trump to not blame Dems or Biden for the hit, like some Republican leaders are already trying to do. He has a martyr narrative for him now. And if he goes the other route, the media will go back to call him divisive. Yes, anything this man do, guys, is under scrutiny. Anything he say is under scrutiny. And what I don't understand, Brother TJ and Peaceful Life, we're going to do record inflation. You and I often talk many times, Peaceful Life, in the back. We're going to do record inflation. We got a strong undocumented immigrants coming to this country, taking over jobs that used to be for Americans, but mostly black people or black men and black women. They are tearing up these cities. The alphabet mafia is destroying this country because our ancestors would have never voted for a lot of this BS now. And then all of a sudden, they're doing everything in their power to shut down any vestige of traditional masculinity. What do you say about that, TJ, and then Peaceful Life real quick?
About Trump, that there's so much vitriol by anything that he says?
Right. So more or less, any vestige of traditional masculinity, they're trying to silence it. And Trump more or less represents, in my opinion, the last vestige of traditional masculinity. What do you say about that? Briefly.
I'm kind of split on that one, Coach. I ain't
Okay.
gonna lie to you. I'm kind of
That's
split
fine.
on that
That's fair. Go ahead.
because I'm not a Trump supporter, so it's
That's
kind
fair.
of hard. But I'm not a Trump hater either.
Right. You're
I don't have
neutral.
any
That's fair.
vitriol towards Trump. But any guy, let me tell you, I'll say it like this, because I work in a female-dominated work environment. Anytime you have a man in a female-dominated culture, and you got a man who's not afraid to tell you what he thinks, you know what I mean? He's not afraid to tell you no. You understand? And he's not afraid of and he's not afraid of whatever quote unquote, outcome from his stance. These women are going to have a problem with it because we've created a culture, I would say more so in the last 30 years, of that men need to bow down and be subservient to the will, whims, and emotions of the women. And then the reason why the culture is like that is because we have other men out here protecting that culture. I told somebody the other day, I told a lady the other day, you can't talk to me the way you talk to me if there isn't another man out here willing to stand in the gap between me and you. You remove your protections, I guarantee you talking to me this way or you interacting with me this way would not be for your best interest or your safety.
Right.
And we have our women out here like this in this culture, and we have the culture attacking men who stand on their own principles and laurels, is because we got other men out here who are willing to defend these women. And I'm not saying a woman doesn't need to be defended, but she doesn't need to be defended to her need does not need to be defended to the detriment of the collective.
I agree. I agree with that. Brother Gary, you need the camera up in the back, brother, so I can see you.
They want to look. I'm worried that if this country ever got invaded, I'm worried that there's not enough strong enough men to go out here and actually fight, because most of the guys now, they're soft.
Oh, I agree. I agree with you 100%. I agree with you 100%. Shout out to my man, brother Gary, OG of mine. Him and I, we go way back. But Peaceful Life, what's your take on what brother TJ said, man?
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with what he said. I mean, and there's been this attack on manhood, masculinity for such a long time. And what he said about the brothers, the biggest problem right now, especially for men, is the simps and the panda bears. I mean, I always say these simps are destroyers of community because they remove all accountability from their women. And we all know that no community can rise when you have such low standards for the women. The women can get away with anything. They can be in with any kind of way. Nobody can say anything to them. The women are afraid to hold them accountable, because if they hold the women accountable, they get attacked. And the guys can't say nothing because the other guys come in, the discipline forces come for them. So you have a dysfunctional community, a dysfunctional system that's why I always tell the young brothers, look, you got to get up out of there. I think I've always called for separation. I think it's time you separate from certain people with certain mindset and mentalities. And the BET Awards was the example of that, where we need to be away from these people because they're not going to change. And in many instances, they only promote that type of nonsense even more, and it only gets worse. And they will cannibalize anybody that has any type of masculine perspective, any type of objective perspective that doesn't speak on code. If you off code in the Black community, if you're not talking victim talk, if you're not talking, everything is the man or women or this or women or that, or you're not worshiping and pedestalizing women, you're going to have a problem as a man. That's really, to the point where many of us have to cut off friends or even change the conversation in the real world, because you end up down that portal where you're dealing with one of these, how I say it, it's one of these guys that have gotten their balls clipped. And they'll turn on you in a second because they report to the queen and they're under her control. So are you talking to him or are you talking to her? You always got to ask yourself the question. But that's how we have some of these men nowadays. And TJ's right. You know, they wouldn't be saying certain things without a man in the way.
You know, Gary, I want to show you something, brother. And you and I, we've been going at it for years, man. You were one of the original OGs when we started, going back from the Manhood Chronicles. I'm going to show you this little clip real quick, and then we're going to get back to Brother TJ, because he did an excellent show about a week ago, and I thought it was powerful. But I also wanted to more or less assert some of his talking points, because my premise is that I don't think in mass, and I could be wrong, that black men are going to go to the Republican Party just because they're Republicans and just be a Republican. Are there some? Yes. But I think black men see Trump as an avatar of what once was, an icon of old school masculinity, where he said what he meant what he said, and won't back down. That's why I said Trump is an avatar. But I'm going to show you this clip, and it was funny. And then we're going to talk about what TJ was asking the question about, do some, about, black folks, get into what's called ninja politics and tap dancing, no different than some white black people on the Democratic plantation as well. But hold tight. Look at this clip real quick. Tell me what you think. Hold tight.
No better if we just let it be.
Give the people what they want.
Many men wish death upon me. Blood in my eye, darling, I can't see. I'm trying to be what I'm destined to be. And neither's trying to take my life away from her. I put a hole in the nigga for fucking with me. My back on the wall, now you, cause I'll come and take your life away. Many men, many men wish death on me, Lord. I don't cry no more. Don't look to the sky no more. Have mercy on me. And these pussy niggas put money on my head. Go on, get your beef from motherfucker.
So, Gary, 50 Cent said a lot of black men identify with Trump because of the struggle and the witch hunt. And you've done a lot of work in the past talking about no-fault divorce, child support, and the court system, how it's regulate to deregulate traditional men. Briefly, real quick, because I want to get back to what TJ was saying. What would you say about this animus towards Trump and the parallels that you see with black men supporting former President Trump?
Yes, President Trump has experienced firsthand the judicial system being weaponized against you. And that's what the judicial system and family court has been doing to men across the United States and in other countries that are headed up by similar governments, right? I just say it like that. What you have here is the Bar Association's attempt to take down Trump, take down their opposition, take down someone who is going to destroy their monopoly on our judicial system. And that organization is called the Bar Association. You never looked up the term bar, B-A-R, it stands for British Accreditation Registry, okay? And so what it is a lawyers union. That's what it is. And they are encamped and encompassed around our judicial system, and they will not let nobody in to get true justice unless we pay, okay? So Trump is threatening to break down their monopoly, and they ain't having it. When you look at the Bar Association members, you got Letitia James, right? You got Alvin Bragg. You got Fannie Willis. You got Juan Merchant, the judge over Trump's trial. Then on top of that, you got the Clintons, the Obamas, the Bidens. All of them are Bar Association members, okay? And the list goes deep. And what you have is a non-Bar Association member who is threatening to turn this country back the way it's supposed to be, get leadership in the hands it's supposed to be in, and take it away from these Bar Association members, okay? That's what's happening. And it's a threat to their cash cow because they're making money off us. They're making money in the form of federal grants. They're making money in the form of child trafficking. The United States, and it's coming out that they are the biggest child trafficking. I'm not trying to get away from the subject. I'm just trying to teach you how deep the Bar Association goes when it comes to how they will violate the people, and in particular men, to make money and to destroy families and to destroy our leadership and our legacy.
Hold that point, Gary. I love it because I don't want you to lose that. Hold that point because I want to ask you about Project 25. But I want to get back to 2025. But I want to get back to what TJ was saying because I want to add clarity to what he's saying as well. So hold tight. Let me click back on because you give us some good stuff, but I don't want to derail it too much. But I like what TJ was saying, and I want to make sure we stay on top. Hold tight.
That's to all you, my partner bitches. And I'll submit if he makes me a housewife, bitches. Go choke on some fucking arsenic. Black women have never, en masse, been stay-at-home mothers. They've never been a stay-at-home mothers. They've always been in the workforce. They've always, the black household, the black family has always required both of us to go out to these white folks, get what we can get, bring that shit home, raise our kids. But you motherfuckers let these white women play in your face and let them convince you that you had a problem that you did not have. Them hoes had the problem. And when you started leaving your man and them white bitches got what they wanted out of their man, they went back home to their fucking men and worked it out. What the fuck you women do? 80% baby mama rate. 80% single mother household. 80% of black people born without a father in the house, and a lot of us not knowing who our fathers were. I could do bad all by myself bullshit. Cause you let them fuckers play in your face. The feminist movement emphasis on independence and economic self-sufficiency, which is what white women really did not want. They just wanted more allowance. That led to an increase in single-parent households among black women because black women bought the bullshit lock, stock, and barrel. Got played. The bitches got played. And here's what's so messed up. Black women know today. They know right now that they were played, and they still doing it. They're still making a fucking conscious choice to do it. That's why I call you raggedy bitches. Because
now I'm gonna show you guys some. TJ, you on fire, man. You on fire, TJ. But I'm gonna show you guys something real quick. I'm gonna show you guys something real quick about this project. Hold on, this Project 2025. And this adds to what TJ is saying. Hold on.
Home. The Department of Education would be eliminated, cutting students off from civil rights protections and ending essential Title I funding for K-12 schools. The Department of Justice would go on a murdering spree. It would rush to use the death penalty and expand its use to even more people while circumventing due process protections. Project 25 not only calls for national book bans in schools, but also creates a list of banned words for the federal government that would be deleted from, quote, every federal rule, agency regulation, contract, grant, and piece of legislation that exists.
Why politicians lie?
You want to be mad at, but you ain't mad at Trump.
Man, shut up, coon. What you got to say about Project 2025?
Have you heard of Agenda 47?
Say what?
Agenda 47.
Nah.
It's the actual platform that Trump is going to push when he becomes president. It's listed on his official campaign website. Project 2025 is not to be found there. Matter of fact, Project 2025 was created by a conservative think tank named the Heritage Foundation.
It's supposed to make it illegal to be
homeless. Has nothing to do with Trump. Trump has neither endorsed nor supported this platform. He has his own.
But I saw on BET.
I don't care what any Hollywood elite or BET Awards show hosted by Taraji P. Henson have told you about Project 2025. It is not a talking point of President Trump's campaign.
So that's similar, TJ, to what my man Gary was talking about. Chop that down or integrate that based on what you heard, based on what you were talking about, how the feminist movement just subverted a lot of people. Go ahead, brother.
You want me or a piece
you?
Of life?
No, you. If you can show parallels to what you said a minute ago, but also about this Project 2025 and how they're using policies to more or less cause chaos, if you can show parallels.
Well, let me tell you something. I'm not a conspiracy theory is fun for entertainment for me. but I don't give it a lot of lip service to conspiracy theory. But guess what? Guess what? You can't. I think for Black folk, the only thing we like more than Jesus and collard greens is a good conspiracy.
Right.
You know, and so Project 2025. I mean, we will see, because all we got to do is wait. You know what I mean, to see what will happen. But it's always around the presidential elections when these doomsday conspiracies start rolling out. I've seen so many over my life that I don't even pay attention to them anymore. But our women are very susceptible to this kind of propaganda because they take advantage of the fact that women by nature are emotional creatures, and they respond more so to fear than men do. Now, I'm not saying men don't respond to fear.
No, I agree with you. Right.
Yeah, but they're more inclined to be motivated to try to do something or vote a certain way based on fear than guys are. So that's kind of what I see with this going on, with especially with our women, our famous women out here pushing this Project 2025 narrative. I don't know. But all I can do is go by what's in front of me right now, and not go down the rabbit hole of the magic bullet, or we filmed the moon landing, in a Hollywood studio somewhere. I can't do that. I'm an evidence-based guy, and that's indicative of like what I do for a living. It's all evidence-based. So that's kind of how I move. Yeah.
No, that's fair. I respect that. Peaceful life. Go ahead, brother. I would like to add to the conversation. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, I totally agree with the TJ, but the thing about it is just has to do more with not only that. I mean, again, a lot of these women understand certain things. They just want their cake and eat it too. And once people have a certain amount of power, they're hesitant to give it up. They have a lot of power that has been given to them through feminism or the illusion of power. They don't want to give away being put first to the line, getting preferential treating on jobs, getting all this government funding and grants and whatever. So they want men to serve them, but they also don't want to give up all these benefits that they're getting as well. So they want it all. But in terms of, Project 25, first of all, these are all these trad cons, or these traditional, these conservatives on the right wing, religious conservatives, these religious conservatives that have their own perspectives to the side, that put out their own messages, the Daily Wire and all their talking heads over there. That has nothing to do with policy. And then like the young brother said on that about Trump, and it's also when government block a lot of these, want things taken out of things, it's usually because most policies, like for example, you have a defense bill. You don't need to attach gender identity crap to that. If it's about weapons, it's about defense. Obama was good for that. He would create a policy that's about, let's say, funding the parks, but attach gender stuff to it. Like what the hell is that? Or you know what I mean? Or an agenda about certain groups to that policy. And they're just trying to blockade that, because now what you're saying is you're forcing people to accept certain ideology just to get contracts. And they have people to hire, they have bills to pay. And that's where the fundamental problems comes in. That's unfair. So if I'm a construction company or I'm a defense contractor, I'm somebody else, I have to hire these people that I may not necessarily support or whatever else. I may have to have a certain amount of, you want to see me hire some, let's say some gay people or some transgender people or some other people in order for me to get this contract with the government. That's the problem with putting things into contracts and into laws. So that I think is unfair. And I think that's what's not being talked about, because they don't care about the critical, because it overwhelmingly benefits them. So they're not going to, they know better. They're just trying to play like they're gaslighting like they don't know any better.
It's just basically bribery.
That's what's going on. And in previous friendship, I taught somebody that go look at during COVID. Not trying to bring them in the past, but there was a COVID stimulus bill that had got trouble passing. I said, go look up the bill. Don't take the news word for it. Right? When this person looked up the bill, they found that yes, a bunch of earmarks, pork, everything was attached to the bill. That's why it wasn't passing. But the left would try to swing it as though we just don't want to support the people. No, we don't want to support your special interest that you got tagged to the bill. So that comes with the liberal side of things. They do not ever want to look up the facts. They just go off emotion, and we can't get anywhere like that. And they just don't want to hear the truth. And another thing I was going to say for us men, we look at the judicial system and what is happening. The Chevron case was a 63 vote. All the men voted against the Chevron doctrine, which was taking away guys' rights to trial by juries. They was having their own quasi-court system on the side and having a whole different set of rules where the guys were being judged upon without giving a jury trial, which is huge. When you don't have juries in court, guys, which is family court, you leave yourself open to bribery of the judge. And if they're going to make money off of it, they got to keep a jury out of it. And so Title 4D and all that stuff and what's going on currently in these courts are being done because we absolutely do not get juries in child support cases. Imagine what that would do, inviting in 12 members of the public, and you get to explain how they're making you a slave and keeping you away from your children to do it. And the women don't care, as long as they get what they want. This is why a lot of them don't need to be in leadership, because they are heavily bribed. They're going to side with whatever benefits them, no matter what it violates. Now, these 3 women on the Supreme Court, right, they voted for the Chevron doctrine, which was blatantly keeping away your 7th Amendment right. What does that tell you? I land.
Guys, what we're going to do. Yeah, go ahead, brother.
Can I say something on that as well? Here's what nobody calculated in all this equation is that young men checking out. That disrupts the whole system. 1, they're not marrying women anymore. 2, some of them don't want to work. So if the young men, that's why you have populations dying off. They're not making any kids. They can't be on child support if you don't make no kids. If you're playing the latest NCAA football game and you're not out on dates on a Friday night, the restaurant's going to go out of business. That part of the calculation was the greatest travesty and concern for countries and nations and any political system. You cannot attach any type of revenue or expectation to something that does not participate, and you cannot force them to participate. Because dudes will, they'd be surprised what men can live off of. We're very simple creatures. Right. And them dudes can outlast, and they're not even responding to shame. That's the great monkey wrench that's going in the system right now.
Right. No, I agree. Guys, do me a favor. Y'all are doing an excellent job. I want to get through this with TJ, and I appreciate Peaceful Life. You guys are doing a good job. I appreciate it. But one of these I want to get to, Peaceful Life, and you worked in law enforcement, and I did too. And I know TJ, I don't know if he's never worked in law enforcement or not, but he said something that was very profound a few minutes ago about, he said something about if there was an imminent threat like war, we would be in trouble, and I agree with him. But we're going to talk about that in a minute. When we talk, guys, keep the comments on to about 2 minutes, because I want to get through this, and then at some point, if TJ got time and Peaceful Life, if you got time, we'll have guys come up and ask Brother TJ any questions related to the video. So I want to reflect on the video because he has some good points. So let's get back to that real quick, and let's keep the comments. Let's limit the comments real quick. I want to get back to TJ's show because I thought what he said was very, very powerful, but very paramount, to say the least. Let me see if I can find it. All right, hold on. Let's see, where's the show at? All right, hold tight. Let me get back to it. Hold on.
because you know you were played. You know your grandmothers and your great grandmothers got played. You know your aunties and your aunties were played. You know your friends and mothers, grandmothers and aunties were played. You know that they're still playing you, but you raggedy hoes are sitting here still moving as if you don't know that you were played. You guys are fucking bullshit. That's horrible. You're disgusting. Black men don't hate you, but we should. We should, because you know better. And according to a 2019 Pew Research report, 74% of black children right now live in a single-parent household, based on the fact that you let these fucking white women play in your face. You letting these people play in your face has had a profound effect on the stability and economic well-being of the black community as a whole. So let me translate this for you. Because you black feminist whores allow these white women to finesse you into helping them get a bag from their man for their benefit, and because you let them make you think that it was cool to leave your man, you sorry ass chicks are out here broke. B-R-O-K-E, broke. And let's not forget, black women loves a scammer and loves a finesser. That's why the white women were able to do that to you, because your funky ass love a scammer.
Back, relax, and let's get it. Right? What are the type of guys you prefer? Scammer, drug dealer, or 9 to 5?
Drug dealer. I want him to move that weight. I'm your pusher, man.
I'm trying to be on the YouTube. Respectfully, it is what it is.
Scammer, 9 to 5 drug dealer.
Wow, that was quick. Oh, you had this planned out. She had this planned out. She's the expert. That's her whole model right now.
9 to 5 is more reliable, but scamming niggas gonna get you what you want.
You got a scamming nigga right now?
No.
You don't got a 9 to 5 nigga?
I don't have anybody.
You got the drug dealer nigga?
I don't have nobody.
I have nobody.
Excuse me, sir. Would you like the chicken or pasta?
Pasta. Crossing the Atlantic is now 1,000 times better than 1,000.
Damn, she's lonely. Damn.
It is.
You better slide her DMs or something. She's taking application for the winter.
I am. I tell the world I prefer 9 to 5, but I really want to scam her in my heart. No funny shit. Because who are you, bitch? We didn't care.
They heard that in that video. Whoa. No.
Now, you know, Piece of Life, TJ, you're not Gen X. We're all Gen X. We're from Gen X. And there appears to be a lot of cognitive dissonance now, sadly. What did you think about that? And when you heard that, TJ, brother TJ, what did you think about that when you heard that? And then also, how does it reaffirm if an imminent threat was here that a lot of women will be in trouble, but also the men, because we're not raising strong masculine men anymore?
No, most of the guys that are out here now, even I'm a late generation. I'm like on that transition of the Gen X and millennial, but the guys in my generation and in the millennials and we were just raised to run from conflict, and we were accustomed to watching our mothers or those of us who were raised by our grandmothers, because we don't want to talk about that. They would step in front of us,
right,
and solve our problems for us. Do you not know the volume of men that are my age? I would say 35 to 50 right now that are still living at home with their mothers.
Mm.
They're conflict averse. They don't know how to, when stuff hits the fan, they go running. They go trying to find some woman to fix their problem for them.
Mm-hmm. I see your point, right?
These guys are wimps, man. They're wimps. They don't have anything. And then here's the thing. A lot of guys will not sit and defend something that they don't have a vested interest in. Too many men don't have anything that they're invested in. They just don't.
Except
especially with the wussification and the participation trophy movement, all of that. I see on a day. Let me tell you something. I work in the medical field. I work in a hospital. The worst patients out there are the men. They're whiny. You'll be surprised how many of them, 35, 40 years old, their mothers are sitting with them at the bedside. Their mothers are directing all of their care. Their mothers are making sure if the guy's pillows isn't fluffed right, the mother's out there raising hell with the nursing staff over a non-fluff pillow. It is maddening watching this crap up close. Just saying.
Guys, do me a favor. Donate to the channel. Don't let the Orange Peel Nurse be the only one. Orange Peel Nurse, go ahead, brother. How would you like to add to the shots fired? They trying to speak death on Trump's life and how it relates to the fiber of this country and the imminent threat in case of the rise. How would you like to add to the conversation real quick, Orange Peel? Go ahead, brother.
Yes, sir. Can y'all hear me?
Yes, sir, I can.
Okay. Well, just to piggyback off the last guy said, as a nurse, I work in the most women-dominated career.
Yes, sir.
And it's absolutely right. Like it's seeing it from like being in this career field. You know, I talk to a lot of women at my job, and just off the cuff, kind of like all of them unanimously say like things like, you know, they have basically they do the independent woman thing, but when you pull them to the side and you say, hey, would you rather just stay at home? And like, oh yes, I would. So then why are you out here acting like that? Like you don't need any certain things. You portray yourself a certain way. And then but when I pull you to the side away from all the talk, then you say, okay, now if I could, I would just, you know, I really wish that I didn't have to do all this work by myself. So it's very interesting, that route. And also to add to things, the insight I see when it comes to our women specifically, is that they do more, especially working with them a lot, and they talk a lot about their personal lives, they do more planning for trips, for vacations, vacation after trip. They didn't work all throughout the week. Okay, I got this next trip. Then they do for actually going on dates and stuff, and they expect the guy to just magically appear and blaming men for this and that. They ain't showing up, but they got the next trip lined up. And then when it comes to student loan debt, they just keep deferring, just taking school after class, and then will actually admit, I'm only taking classes because I don't want to pay my student loan debt. And you know, they say I don't ever plan on paying it off. You know, when I get my man, it's going to be our debt. So these are things that I'm like, wow, they're actually saying this, and like this crazy insight. And then when I hear them online talking a whole different tune, I'm like, they're all lying. But that's my little spill about that thing. But
the brother that's talking, what's your name?
That's the Orange Peel Nurse. He's
that's
Orange Peel Nurse.
Orange Peel. I work in the hospital. I'm a respiratory therapist.
Okay. Oh yeah. Cool.
Okay. Look, I want to piggyback on something real quick that you just said about the work environment. And we're probably in two different states, two different areas in the medical field right now. And I use that kind of as general when I say the workforce. The majority of people in the workforce are Black women, 3-1. 3-1.
Yes.
You walk into a hospital, I would say 5 years ago, you could barely find a Black nurse. That's all you're getting now are Black employees in the workforce. White women have left the goddamn workforce en masse.
Yeah.
They left. The Black, and to your point, all of them are out there planning the next trip, and they're broke. And then 6 months into the year, you hear them you'll hear them in passing talk about they need a place to stay because they didn't pay their rent or their fucking mortgage because they're trying to jump on somebody's boat or somebody's plane every 3 months. I don't understand how these women can afford to live. They got kids and all this other stuff, but they're in the Dominican Republic every other week.
And I know, and what I found out about that is because I'm like sitting here, I got a home, I got a mortgage, I got my wife, I got my son. And I'm like, how are they getting on these trips? These women are either living with their mama, or these women making good money, $60,000 plus a year. They live with their mama, or they live with their other nursing friend. And they going on all their trips while mama at home. I'm like, they ain't taking mama on a trip yet, but they going on trips. Like, I was like, there ain't no way, because I'm paying $1,800 plus a mortgage, and they going on $1,800 trips. Where are they getting this money from? Like, how is it? So they don't want a guy who lives with his mama, or don't have his own place, while the ones who are actually making good money, they still are taking advantage of, oh, well, you know, live in an apartment or live with another person or my mom. I can save money and all this stuff so I can go on my trips while paying no student loan debt on top of that. So it's very interesting how they talk about, you know, their generational wealth argument while you look at their spending and nothing's adding up. And I've seen it firsthand, and you've definitely seen it firsthand.
Let's qualify something real quick before we get back to what Brother TJ was saying. We're not talking about guys that stay home, they're trying to save money because they're trying to build or buy their own house. We're not talking about them. But what TJ is talking about is guys that suffer from arrested development. They don't have no plans. They don't have no tenacity. They don't have no wherewithal. They're just existing under the umbrella of their mothers. Is that correct, TJ?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay. Right. Shout out to my man Top Gun for the 5. He said masculine lives matters. I'm gonna get back to what TJ said. I'm gonna get to the part about the TJ said about the Republican Party and also men. But to Peaceful Life and then the Orange Pill Nurse and Gary, real quick, keep it on the 2 minutes. Do you think black men are voting for Trump because him being a Republican, or do you think they're voting because they like the avatar of Donald Trump and what he stands for in regard to masculinity? What would you say?
I think a lot of them are voting for Trump because they recognize that Trump doesn't really align with either the Republicans or the Democrat.
Right.
And he's more of a statesman in terms of his policies and how it will affect them as men. The masculinity is a part of it, but also too, when you understand, a lot of these millennials and especially the Gen Z young men are a little more aware than we think they are.
Mm-hmm.
And what they understand is policy versus conversation and promises or policies that actually benefit the individual and benefit community. And right now, the Democrats are just more of those, you know, let me throw you some handouts or some free stuff. But where's the policies that benefit men? How does these things help men? How do they help young men? I mean, women's issues or gender issues, most of the young men don't care about that. They care about, you know, jobs. They care about careers. They care about, you know, being able to live in a country where they're not really shamed or looked down upon just because they're men.
Fair enough. You know, I love Brother TJ because TJ is brutally honest and he's passionate. And, you know, the thing I love about TJ, him and I talk a lot in the back, and, you know, he embodies what I stand for. I always say, whereas men, we don't agree on all things and ideologies, and that's fine. But we live in a world that now, Brother TJ, you can't have a conversation with people and have a difference of opinion and them not getting their feelings. That's bizarre to me. What are you seeing now in men dealing with conflict resolution compared to maybe when we were teenagers growing up? What do you see?
You know, real quick, let me take, you know, the whole attempted assassination with Trump last night, right?
Yes,
so
sir.
one of the white boys on the job, so the ladies, some of the sisters in the department were sitting there talking about, oh, this is made up, this is made up, this is made up. And the white boy got upset, stormed out and all this, that, and the third. And so I waited about 15 minutes and then I called him because he was getting off work. I called him. I said, let me tell you something, man. Don't get upset about these women walking around here with these conspiracy theories. You know what you saw. You know what I mean? You know what you understand. Don't ever get upset and worried about how some woman is reacting to a conspiracy theory that was a setup and stuff like that. I said, let these women do what these women do. And so when he came back in this morning, that white man, and me and this white man are politically not aligned.
Mm-hmm.
He came in this morning and walked up to me, shook my hand. He said, I needed that pep talk. This is a gentleman older than me, way older than me.
Mm-hmm.
I needed that pep talk. And he goes, I always knew you all right. He goes, but you my brother now for that pep talk. Mm-hmm. So a lot of times talking about, you know, you don't have to be in agreement with a man to understand the plight and the frustrations of a man. I understood why he was frustrated because he was listening to these kooky ass women say some of the most idiotic shit. And that goes again when most men hear idiotic things, it goes again, it short circuits our system. It's like, what are you talking about? You know what I mean? Because we move in a very linear way. We think in a very linear way. And so I just wanted to point, piggyback on what you're saying, Coach, about a lot of men can have different opinion and even debate and not be all upset with each other or want to come to fisticuffs. But with women, a lot of times, if you don't agree with them, you're dead to them.
Right. That's true. That's true. And they will disassociate men that have a different or contrarian point. Brother Tito is in the house. How you doing, sir? What's going on, brother? Let me unmute.
Join y'all though.
How you doing, sir?
I said I'm okay. How you doing, Coach? I'm out here working on a car, man. It's kind of hot. I just got the message here.
Now, I won't hold you long, man. But I would say, Tito, that Trump is the last vestige or the last icon of masculinity. He's the last vestige or the last icon. And I'm reviewing Brother TJ's show that he did last week, talking about politics and how black folks have been besmirched by Democrats when it comes down to the Dixiecrats, but also some blacks might be besmirched by the Republican Party. But I said that I don't think it's necessarily partisan politics. But what I do think it is, TJ, is that black men are lining themselves up with Trump because Trump represents the last vestige of traditional masculinity. What would you say about that?
Yeah, not just that. When they was trying to get that 1994 crime bill passed, Joe Biden made himself the face of that. And now, some like 30 years later, guys still remember that. And not only do guys still remember that, they're gonna tell younger brothers about that. And even for a younger brother that might not have a single male relative, if he was to just go back through YouTube and look at the language that he used in that speech, that's extremely damning for Joe Biden. It's no way he will ever be able to live that down.
Yes, sir.
It's no way. It's no way.
Right.
That's why they make that speech so hard to find. That's why they make it so hard to find.
I agree with that. Let me ask you a question, man. We know that Trump is a threat. That's what they tried. They threatened his life. And but we also know that the manosphere is a threat. Do you see the parallels between Trump and the manosphere, in your opinion?
Yeah, let's look at the reason that they are a threat. With Trump, the reason he's a threat to a lot of people is that he wants to get rid of the overgrowth of an unelected administrative state, legacy, and a lot of times administrative state that's been that's been a result of all of the years that FDR and Truman were in office combined. This country has been functioning under an administrative state ever since then. Think about that. Think about how many different alphabet agencies got added to our government that we still have from back then, like the FBI that we never had before. We never had Social Security. We never had the NSA. We never had the CIA. The CIA came from the OSS, which was part of the Army, which is part of Army intelligence. So think of all of these layers of government that we've had to have added ever since then. And Trump is against that. And if you read the 2025 report, instead of fear mongering based off of it, you actually want to read the PDF. It's mostly about shrinking the government. It's even stuff in there about shrinking the officer class in the military, which I was surprised by, frankly. But yeah, they pointed out in their report that in World War II we had 709 officers in the armed forces altogether. And then now we have 44 of them. And I was like, damn. So then I thought about it. And then when I thought about it, I realized that I had, just by reading history, actually memorized all of those officers from World War II. Your Chester Nimises, your Douglas MacArthur's. I knew all of their names, your Hap Arnolds, right? And so he wants to dismantle that. And along with that administrative class is the deep state. And that's where the threat is. Now with the manosphere, the threat from the manosphere is that you have an awful lot of equity in terms of capital, human capital, and financial capital that's tied up in a lot of industries that goes towards maintaining women. Besides, in this country, besides defense, right? Besides maybe real estate, and the sales of food, there are an awful lot of industries in this country, in this world, in Western society that are dedicated to maintaining or pleasing women. And so with all of that financial equity that's tied up into that, the manosphere threatens to wipe that out in an instant. And a lot of people are intimidated. A lot of people are afraid.
So
that's what the threat is.
Right. So basically what you're saying, resources and all of that. Is that what you're saying?
Totally agree. He nailed it.
Mm-hmm.
Money.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Right,
it's the money. It's the money.
Right.
They say if you want to solve a murder, follow the pussy or follow the money. You know what I'm saying? In this case, we following the money. That's what it is. That's why people are so threatened by the manosphere, because we have managed to shake up the society and alter the way that the GDP has to go down. You know, you got places like Davis Bridal going out of business. You got Zales hanging on their last leg. You got Rogers and Hollins hanging on their last leg and then on the last thread, and then inventing this weird concept of the quote unquote right hand ring, so women can give themselves a ring or whatever. Or trying to sell run-em-off rings, because nobody's actually buying these females a ring for what it's intended for, right? You got all kind of industries that are threatened because of the manosphere. And you have your agents come online. You have your agents come online and try to downplay our influence, but the influence is apparent. It's all over the media. It's all over not just social media, but mainstream media. It's all over pop culture now. There's nothing they can do about it.
That's powerful.
I'll say this.
Go ahead. Go ahead, brother.
The reason why men are voting for Trump exponentially is because we tired of this pimp scheme being ran on us. Where the state is the pimp, the moms are the quote prostitutes, and the daddies are the tricks. And so, as you see in the judicial system, because I keep bringing this up because this is a key element in why we're being done in the way men are voting, the way they're voting. You see a lot of crimes that are committed based on gender, right? To be the same crime, and a woman gets, I don't know if you remember the woman in California who stabbed her boyfriend 109 times, and they gave her a slap on the wrist. Y'all remember that story?
I don't remember.
This was recent. It was just last year, in November sometime. She stabbed him 109 times and got probation. When you look at Carly Russell, how she got a slap on the hand. You look at other women who lied about stuff and got a slap on the wrist. You have to understand the pimp gonna take care of his people. He's gonna take care of the vehicle where he's getting the cash. Okay? He can't punish his workers. He can't punish the folks that supplying him. We the tricks, and we're tired of it, and that's why we're voting for Trump. And so yeah, this is what is going on, people. It's all about the money.
Right.
They cannot make money unless they got us enslaved by way of legal marriage or having a kid. And black men and men in general have opted out. Now they're hurting. Let me give you another key for our land here. You know that here recently, 38 states instituted anti-abortion laws, right? All simultaneously. Right. Do you think that's strange?
Right.
Yeah, so check this. This is the real reason they did it, right? The state gets $10,000 to $12,000 per month per foster child. Okay? When the child is in state custody, the state will receive $10,000 to $12,000 per child. But if the birth rate is dropping, what happens to their federal dollars? They drop as well. So what do they go do? They go beg the Supreme Court to, hey, give us Roe v. Wade back. We losing money. Well, the Supreme Court relinquishes it. The states simultaneously make anti-abortion laws trying to make the women have the children. Why? Because they need the children to get the federal funding. Go look it up. Title 4 E of the Social Security Act.
Okay, all right. I'm gonna finish playing some of this more for TJ real quick because I want you guys to ask some questions. Tito, real quick, I'm gonna show you something that I showed all the new guys coming in, and tell me what you saw tell me what thoughts came to your mind when you saw this image of Trump. Hold tight.
Many men wish death upon me, blood in my heart, darling, I can't see. I'm trying to be what I'm destined to be. And niggas trying to take my life away. From I bought a hole in the nigga for fucking with me. My back on the wall, now you, cause I'll come and take your life away. Many men, many men wish death on me, Lord. I don't cry no more. Don't look to the sky no more. Have mercy on me. And these pussy niggas put money on my head.
So are black men more aligned with the Republican Party, in your opinion? Or are they more aligned with the policies of Donald Trump, Tito, and Trump being the avatar, not necessarily for the Republican Party per se, but being the avatar and also the avatar for what America once was? Hold tight. Did you hear that, Tito? Hello?
Yeah, wait. Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yes, sir, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah, you have to unmute me. Yeah, like I was saying, for those of us that are old enough to remember, what America once was, when you could like quit a job and get fired from a job and have another job at lunchtime. Yeah, he does represent a last vestige or being symbolic of that. But he when he first came in, he had policies and did things that were immediately beneficial to so-called black men. I think one of the first things he did, even though Obama couldn't do it for some reason, was give a posthumous pardon to Jack Johnson. That's one of the first things that Trump did. Another thing that he did is that he finally promoted, Charles McGee, the Tuskegee Airman.
Yeah,
he finally promoted him to be a full general because he had retired as a colonel. So he promoted him to a brigadier general. He had the Opportunity Zones program. He doesn't just like give like symbolic lip service to so-called black men. He's actually netted real policy wins or things that are actually beneficial to individual black men. A lot of your favorite rappers, he got them out. He pardoned them, right? So yeah, this is the first president that's done something for black men since Ulysses S. Grant.
Right.
Think about it.
Right. And I think TJ did a great job. And we having these conversations because what he said is powerful, but there's nuance to it. He was saying that a lot of black folks have been besmirched by the Democratic Party, and he was admonishing black folks not to be besmirched by Republicans. And I think that's a fair assessment. But I'm doing this more anecdotally and based on my instinct, and I could be wrong. I think more black men are voting for the image of what was. Because when I saw that bullet whirl through that man's head, the powers that be, man, if Harris and Biden become president again, the country's already dead. It's over. What's your take on that? I'm gonna ask TJ real quick.
Okay, my take on that is that right now what we have before us is probably the last opportunity, the last election cycle where the vote of the so-called black men or black people in general is even going to be numerically relevant. If they get back in there 4 more years, they go bring so many immigrants here that the black vote won't even be a question no more.
Yes, sir. Right. I agree with that. Yes, sir. Right. I agree with that. And that goes back to the threat of they said the threat of project, what you call it, Project 2025. Do you think that's a fear tactic starting with TJ? Or I think you said you don't know that much about it.
No, listen, I want to just piggyback on what he said about the limiting of the black vote or making the black vote irrelevant. It's almost irrelevant now. And I think that's another contributing factor as to why black men are probably going to swing to Donald Trump. Look, I know, Coach, you asked the question if Biden and Harris gets reelected.
Mm-hmm.
I just simply reject that premise altogether. It's not happening. So I'm not even moving or operating in the notion that that's even a possibility. If the Democratic Party, and this is just my opinion, if they wanted a snowball's chance in hell of reclaiming the White House 2 years ago, they should have announced 2 years ago that Joe Biden wasn't running.
Right.
Because 2 years ago, it started leaking out of the White House 2 years ago that Biden was suffering from symptoms of dementia 2 years ago.
Right.
So, and let me tell you guys something. Let me point out something. You guys are old enough to remember this. The last term of, and I was a kid. I was like a kid. During this time, but the last 2 years of Ronald Reagan's presidency was an absolute abject disaster. The reason why people don't know that is because Reagan was protected. His wife decided to protect him publicly and within the administration. The wife said, "Damn this job. My husband ain't no more, and I'm not going to have anybody propping him up and letting the world see that my husband isn't what he used to be because he is now suffering in the thralls of dementia." Right. And if you don't remember, when the last time we saw Ronald Reagan publicly was the day he left office. The next time we saw Ronald Reagan, he was rolling down the street in a casket. That was a woman protecting, a wife protecting her ailing, doing her last works of a wife, which was protecting her husband on his way out. What Jill Biden is doing to Joe Biden is cruel. It's elder abuse. And this is not even about attacking Joe. I can't attack Joe Biden no more because as a person who works in the medical field, I can look in Joe Biden's face. The people who suffer from dementia, they even have a different look about them. I know what I'm seeing, and this is cruelty at its finest. And if the Democrats had any, and his wife, if they had any care other than just stopping Trump, this is not about Trump anymore. These are people. They would have announced, they would have talked the Bidens out of this crap 2 years ago. They knew this crap 2 years ago.
Right.
And they could have fielded, they could have let the Democrats try to field a candidate. Let me also tell you what the Democrats screwed up. Trump would not be running had they not prosecuted him. If they would have gave Trump the same grace that they gave George W. Bush, who was an actual war criminal. Let's not mince words. George W. Bush was a effing war criminal for what he did in the Middle East. They gave George W. Bush a pass for what he did as president. If they would have treated Trump the same way, this would have been the Ron DeSantis versus Kamala Harris. But these people are they're evil. They're I don't want to call them evil. The lure of that,
you're right.
That lure of that power is so intoxicating, to these people that they don't care who they destroy in the process. I'm a firm believer that if they never prosecuted Trump after he left office, he wouldn't have ran again. He has no incentive to. He doesn't need to run. He doesn't need this. He's actually more influential not being the president.
Right. I agree. And
this
he did it.
This is all get back for Donald Trump. This is all get back for Donald Trump. This whole thing. And then that young man doing what he did, that was the final nail, excuse my terminology, in the coffin of Joe Biden. So I reject the premise of a notion that if the Biden-Harris ticket gets reelected, they will not.
That's interesting.
And before this incident happened, they still weren't going to get reelected because black men, if 25 to 30% of black men voted for Donald Trump, it's over anyway. It's over anyway.
I think it's going to be higher than that. Here's the thing with people.
No, I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be between 35 to 40% of black men.
I think so too.
What we're watching is the death of the Republican Party. I mean, of the Democratic Party. That's what we're watching.
What also people forget too, what pissed a lot of black people off is the feeling of betrayal with the immigrant situation in the cities. I mean, in New York City itself, we had a situation where they actually sent kids home to be homeschooled. And we know a lot of parents use the school system. The kids are in school during the day and they have to maintain jobs to pay these high rents, high mortgages, and high expenses. So it hurt them in the pocket because somebody couldn't work or had to abbreviate their job situation where if somebody's working part-time on the weekends or whatever else, or made arrangements to watch their kids. Because your kids at home now, you got to homeschool them, or not homeschool them. You have to monitor them while they're learning over the computer, or take care of them instead of them being at school and then going to after school program. So that hurt people financially. And they're like, why are you giving our resources in the community to immigrants? You're investing more in immigrants than you're investing in. This is our tax dollars. And that infuriated a lot. A lot of people felt betrayed by the Democratic Party because of that. And then lastly, and anybody who has any inkling that are going to vote for Trump, we have this thing with code in the black community, especially. If you say that you support a particular candidate that's not a liberal candidate, you're going to meet some scorn from the black women, scorn from some men and whatever else. So a lot of people are closet Trump supporters.
Right.
People don't consider that because there's so much shame and ritual shame that comes at you in the community. They're not going to tell you, a lot of those guys, they're going to go in the boot and hit Trump because they don't see Trump as a Republican or a Democrat. They don't see him as a Republican. They just see him as Trump. They go vote for the candidate.
Right.
And the answer to all this nonsense. But that's closet people that I think is higher percentage to what people think it are. They're just not going to say it.
Let me speak to the miscalculation of the Democratic Party.
Go ahead.
They're seeking to replace black votes with these immigrants.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the dirty little secret about these immigrants. If you look at the Hispanic voting of the way that they vote conservative. They overwhelmingly vote Republican. How in the hell do you think Ron DeSantis is the fucking governor of Florida if it wasn't for the Hispanic population voting for them? How do you think Ted Cruz and the boys in Texas, how do you think that they're in office if it wasn't for the Hispanic vote? The Democrats are miscalculating, thinking that other minorities are like black folk. That they're gonna be able to do with these other groups the same way that they do for now. These Hispanics, they're gonna take whatever the hell that them Democrats offer them, and then they're gonna go vote Republican. They're gonna take whatever resources they're gonna get, and then they're gonna keep it at home. We've seen this our whole lives about the Hispanic culture. They go out into the world, gather whatever resources they get, and they bring that crap back home, and they stay together. I'm telling you right now, this is a huge miscalculation and a huge misunderstanding of who they're trying to replace us with. And they're replacing us because our numbers are dwindling. Because when you got 54% of black men not reproducing, 54% of black men are single and childless? 54% of black men are not reproducing. That is not conducive to stabilizing or keeping a culture going.
Right. But they're not producing. But they're not producing because of hoflation. That's why they're not producing. It's not because
we're not reproducing.
Yes,
I agree with you. And we're not creating families.
Right. But I don't think it's a byproduct of many not wanting to create families. You got women, based on what you said. I'm going back to your show, the part you had about a lot of women having taken F-boys over top-tier men and scammers over the blue-collar hardworking brothers. I think your show proved that. We're going to get back to it. Hold tight. Let me see if I can find that clip. Hold on.
He said, "Who are you, bitch? Is crazy." He's on bad. Hold on. Hold on. This man is on bad timing.
I did not figure out who the fuck that bitch is. That's my friend for them.
Oh, you see, lady, you have a friend like this because he is backing you up.
He in the friend zone.
I need a drug dealer and then a scammer, then fuck the 9 to 5. I want the scammer first, then the drug dealer, then the 9 to 5.
They like the fast money over here.
Because the fast money niggas, they got time. They can take you out Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
But you just complained to him when
I ain't got nothing to say on that. That speaks for itself. The feminist movement was not tailored to the unique experiences and the challenges that were faced by Black women. Instead, it primarily served the interest of white women, helping white women achieve their economic parity with their husbands. Black women who were already active in the labor force found that the movements, the feminist movement, they did find that the goals did not address their Black women's specific needs and circumstances. Black women had a different set of issues. As a result, Black women were finessed into a movement that did not serve their best interests, leading to increased depression. Let me say that again. Black women were finessed into a movement that did not serve their best interests, which led to some very interesting outcomes and not good for Black women. It led to an increase in depression, increase in high blood pressure, increase in uterine cancer, increase in fibroid tumors, increase in hysterectomies, increase in obesity, increase in mental health issues, increase in child abuse, increase in sexual exploitation, a definite increase in single parenting household, and a persistent, unwielding economic hardship. You go, girl.
But we were talking about random nipple hairs.
Right here, once you've made...
That's what the feminist movement did for Black women. And let me tell y'all something.
So go ahead. I talked about how Black women at one point, I did a show and I talked about last week called The Revolution, how Black women were some of the greatest women ever. And they morphed into what I call now genetically modified organisms. Guys, do me a favor, hit the like button, share the stream, and donate to the channel. But go ahead, Tito. What would you say about what my man, you want to add something to? What would you say, Fly Guy? Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, I wanted to interject. I don't think feminism had nothing to do with white women, this iteration of feminism. The only time feminism ever has something to do with white women is during the early part of the 20th century when they were trying to get suffrage. And the only reason that white women wanted to vote was because they felt like they had been reduced to inferiority by the 15th Amendment, by Black men being able to vote. But this current iteration of feminism absolutely had nothing to do with white women. This current iteration of feminism was all based in the desire by the more dominant society to completely destabilize Black society.
I made that point in the video.
Because think about this. Yeah. I'm sorry. I was still repairing. I had to. Yeah. They think about when you see the pimp movies from the 70s. Mm-hmm. They made those pimp movies from the 70s as a precursor to feminism. Mm-hmm. Notice how feminism came right on the heels of that, because without those pimp movies being able to, kind of be like almost a more stylistic version of The Birth of a Nation, without those movies, then you don't have a justification for Black women joining the ranks of feminism, because you got Jim Brown, you got Muhammad Ali, you got Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, you got all of these different revolutionaries and all these different upstanding Black men. So how do you use that image of Black men to justify oppression, to justify feminism? All that image of Black men justifies is trying to come from up under oppression. So you have to bring in an oppressive image of the Black man to make feminism seem even politically or intellectually viable. So this current iteration of feminism had nothing to do with white women. It had everything to do with destabilizing Black society.
Go ahead, TJ. I know you want to add. Go ahead, brother.
No, I was going to say throughout in the video, I ended up saying that the only people left in the feminist movement were Black men and gay women. Or Black women and gay men. Mm-hmm. That's the feminist movement now. White women have left the feminist movement. They got what they needed, and they booked up out, went back home up under the protection of their men. They went back and reconciled with their men. Hey, baby, I'm sorry, but I just want to be able to buy my own Gucci purse, baby. And they went back to serving their men. Yeah, no, you absolutely right. The modern day feminist party is nothing but black women and gay men. That's
and
it.
One of the things I want to ask you guys. Hold tight. I want to ask you guys. Do you guys think that? So somebody asked me the question about Project 2025, and I said, let's say if that is a visceral threat, I don't think that threat is more imminent than undocumented immigrants, the alphabet mafia, radical feminism, but also rampant inflation. What would you guys say about that?
I mean, the threat is invalid because you can't, first of all, that's almost impossible to pull off. But where are you going to get the men to participate in this is the fundamental problem, the fundamental flaw. Birth rates are down across black people, white people, whatever else. The men are not getting married. They're not interested because the product that is the modern woman is so awful. So, I know these trad cons and the religious conservatives think that they can force people back into this form of traditionalism, but these women were not raised to be traditional. They're not raised to be wives. They're not wives. And that's what we have out here now is that we have a lot of women that are experiencing economic hardship that are trying to shame men, broke shame men. We're talking about ran through women, retired feminists, ran through women, trying to get men, shame men into some type of financial compliance to take them and tell them you got to pay their bills. And this, TJ addressed it, this idea of traditionalism that never existed for us. Our women have always had to work. Women have worked hard in the past. You know what it is to scrub clothes on a scrub board, hang them out on the line, help with the farm, do all that hard labor at home? Most of these women that are sitting on their ass in these air-conditioned offices would not last in that summer heat or that hot ass house with just fans.
Yes, sir.
They have no idea what women had to go through in the past. It's all made up fantasy crap.
Right. I like that. That's
Coach, can I jump in? I know let me jump.
Yeah, guys, hold tight. I got a few more guys I want to speak. I want to bring the contractor up. Listen, guys, I got a lot to cover. I want to bring the contractor up in a minute, and then also let me read the super chat right quick. Shout out to Revelated the Spirit of Variance with the $5. It's the Democrats' sheer arrogance that's leading it to its undoing. Shout out to him. And shout out to Gregory Scotland. He said that salute Coach with all due respect. Black women have been a problem to black men since slavery. Black men have overpraised them. That's a fair point. Orange Peel Nurse want to add to it, and then also the contract. I'll start with the Orange Peel Nurse first, and then contract. Go ahead, brother.
Okay, so when it comes to, I just want to touch primarily on the immigration piece of it, as far as the immigrants coming over. The problem when I have this conversation, and I'm not agreeing, I'm with the other guy, I'm not agreeing with Trump politically at all, really. But the problem I have when I have conversation with people on the other side, when it comes to like the immigrants are going to be taking over jobs and all this stuff, like I know Trump talked about black jobs, and I don't really care about that whole black job thing. I don't find that racist at all, honestly. I get what he was saying.
Yes, sir, right.
But like when you have these conversations, and I think what happens is people will say, yeah, you're taking it, like, because I look at the numbers and I look at everything and I try to like say, okay, that's crazy. Oh, the immigrants are coming over here taking all these black jobs. What's going on here? And I'm like, okay, I'm not finding nothing that shows this correlation of high immigration correlating with like high unemployment of black men specifically, let alone what jobs they're even talking about. Because like, okay, myself, I'm a nurse. The guy's a respiratory therapist. What jobs is what black jobs, if that matter, or whatever jobs are these immigrants taking, or what is going on? And then when it comes to the whole thing with in a lot of these blue cities or inner cities, I think a lot of people still know that Republican governors like Greg Abbott and DeSantis were the ones busing them to these cities. They weren't busing them to Kentucky. They were busing them primarily as a political stunt, in my opinion. They said, oh, well, these are sanctuary cities. That's why we're going to take them over there. It was clearly political, like busing kids and stuff. And it's like, okay, you give an over influx of these immigrants to these cities that you're supposed to coordinate stuff. You don't just bus them and take them by plane and just drop them off. Like that's a political stunt in my opinion. So like I don't want I just want to say like that's the narrative. Like we can say what we want about how they're handling it and all that stuff, but there's a lot more to it than just the problem was created by open borders by Biden and the Democrats. Like, well, there's some other stuff going on here, so let's not lose sight of that and just really understand there's more to it than that. There's a political game to it, and I will say that the Republicans are very good at messaging. I disagree with them for their delivery of their messaging, but they're very good at messaging and narrative. And I think when I talk to people about policies, particularly brothers maybe opposite side of me, I hear more of the messaging arguments than the policies, like, you know, voting and illegals voting stuff. They're voting, the Democrats are handing them IDs so they can vote. But I'm like, well, we have a law that's been in place since 1996, and there was a Democratic president, so much for open borders anyway. So like that made it a law criminal. And why is illegal? Why would I vote illegally and get sent out of here? Like that's a federal crime, and it's been a crime since 1996. Shame it took that long. And it's like, so now you're trying to make a new law that just got passed and by the Republicans in the House saying you need a passport now to register to vote. But you're saying we're doing this because of legal voting when it's rarely happens. You get a better chance struck by lightning. So what is the purpose of this bill? You know, so there's a lot of political games being played that cause a lot of emotion. And then when you look behind the look behind the curtains, look at the numbers, and you're like, something's off here. There's something's off here. So that's
a fair point. I think what Trump meant by, what he meant by, he probably meant to say American jobs, but I think what he was saying succinctly is that it goes back to what Tavis Smiley said: when white America get the cold, black America get the flu. Let's say if immigrants are coming to this country and they'll work for $6 an hour, but the average black person said, listen, no, I need to work for 15 and up. They'll take a cheaper cut. So they're taking their jobs because they're basically forcing American blacks or Americans in general to lower the standards based on what immigrants are saying. So basically they're taking those jobs because they don't mind taking lower wages, which in essence is causing a lot of issues. Same with contracts, governmental contracts with buildings and whatnot. For so long, a lot of black contractors weren't given jobs. I want the contractor to add to that as well. And they weren't given contracts, even though they were competent. A lot of competent contractors weren't given jobs to do the work that many immigrants would do for free. Contractor, how would you like to add to that, man, about the illegal immigration issue? And also, what was your visceral image when you saw Trump attempted assassination on yesterday, brother? Go ahead.
Salute to you, sir. Salute to the brothers on the panel. Salute to everyone in the chat.
Yes, sir.
I can tell you right now, working a construction job, all you see is foreigners. Like I got out of the construction trade working for somebody else a while ago because I saw the direction it was going. And even working with the union, you're going to make a guaranteed wage, but I guarantee when you get on a job, it's more them than it is you. It's just, it is what it is on that. And they are taking the jobs for less money. So if you are, for example, if you land a scale job and you're making upwards of $70 an hour, okay, that's good money. But some has to go towards your pension, some goes toward, different things, so on and so forth. That's more money than the average person makes. But then you still have your bills at the end of the month that you have to pay, your rent, your mortgage. If you have kids, you got to take care of them. So the money stretches, but it don't stretch that far in this economy.
Right.
Now, take the union out of it, and when you get out there and you're bidding on jobs yourself, I can't compete with 12 guys that are willing to do a one-man job for half the price. It's just not going to work.
Right. Right.
As far as a visceral image, man, he went down, but when he got up, when he got up and he pumped his fist in the air, that galvanized a whole lot of us. Now,
yes, sir. Right.
For the closeted Trump supporters, I think they're coming out the closet now. because you saw a man take a round. He went down, but then he got back up and he pumped his fist in the air. You know that iconic photo of that fist being
Yes,
pumped
sir.
in the air?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Now, if I had to pick a president, I would pick one that can take a slug and keep it pushing. Because I'm a man. You know what I'm saying? I'm a man. God damn it, I respect that.
Yes, sir.
Let me touch on this really quickly. I don't think Project 2025 is for us. To what a peaceful life was talking about. He said, "Where you gonna find the men?" In my personal belief, I think Project 2025 is the plan they laid out to control them. All these new people coming through, because 2025 ain't got nothing to do with me and you, brother. There's nothing in there for us.
Right.
Now they did throw a little red meat out there with 2025 and said, okay, well, we'll just do away with no fault divorce. Well, you could have been did that. Pedro and them ain't going to deal with Maria acting like Becky and Keisha. It's going to be a whole lot of removals happening because those men come from traditional backgrounds. So Maria acting like Becky and Keisha, they're going to end up in the box somewhere. As far as those men are concerned. So those rules I think, are being set up and set in place to manage all the newcomers. But that's just my personal opinion.
I call it politricking. I call it politricking the contractor. I think it's a byproduct of political gaslighting, in my opinion. I had a good friend of mine. She asked me her take on it, and many think it's scary. They think it's scary. But let's say if this despotic Project 24 is part of a tyrannical organizational tyrannical proviso, do you think it's more dangerous than what we have now in the Alphabet Mafia, the Black Lives Matter manifesto, rapid inflation, but also all these illegals coming to this country? I don't see that being as nefarious as what we have now. What's your take on that? And I want to hear from Garrett Scott. He wanted to add to the conversation. Go ahead.
Yeah, man. When you look at what's this Project 2025, they've been predicting this, in the films and everything. One thing that comes to mind, I don't know if you guys have seen it, but this Handmaid's Tale show. It's very leading, the stage, the setup for that to happen today is similar to that, right? The society is so out of control, and in particular in that show, the women were out of control. They couldn't, and they had to usher in men with guns and firepower. Said enough is enough. We turning this country back the way it's supposed to be. That's basically what the show was about. Right. And you had a lot of women who took it as oppression. There was some oppressive things that happened, but the thing is, when you look at what was going on and the out of control and the hoardism and stuff like that, is that how are they going to pull it back into control and get the reins on it? And that's what you see lining up today. It's a lot of things going on. The birth rate. There's movies made in 2006 that predicted this. One of them is Children of Men, where the last pregnant woman on earth was a black woman smuggled through Europe, and miraculously she popped up pregnant, and they were chasing after her, trying to get a hold of her. And so would you look what you got today? You have the birth rate is drastically falling, and this is a setup, a lineup to what's going on. Now, my last point I want to say, when it comes to the black woman, I bring this up on TikTok a lot. And when they first hear it, they are shocked, right? The black woman is the new Jim Crow of relationships and dating, marriage, right? And you look at how they're treating black men, how they're preventing black men from being with their children, using the children for pawns for money, basically turning black men into slaves and money bags. And the only thing you're good for is pampering me and showering me with gifts and work and doing favors for me. Slaves. That's all the same. That's the same way Jim Crow treated us, black people as a whole, back beyond 1970. But when you look at what's happening today and the requirements and the demands and the ludicrousy that these women, these black women are coming out for when it comes to dating and marriage, it lines up. We're nothing to them but cash cows. We're nothing to them but workhorses. That's it. That's the only use they have for us. They don't love us. They don't care for us. They don't want to get us in the home and treat us like the husbands that we deserve to be treated as. It's all about what they can get and what they can profit from, just like the Jim Crow races of old.
Right. TJ, how would you add to that, brother? And then also, Fly Guy, if you want to ask TJ a question, go ahead.
No, he's absolutely right. I mean, that was well articulated, very well said, very detailed analysis. That's absolutely correct. And the reason why, and I will say this, and this is part of the thing that men got to take responsibility for, they can do that because there's a man standing in the way that's going to, that would help them impose their will.
Right.
A woman to a man straight up is that's not even fair. That's why they have to engage other men to do their fights for them, because they're not allowed to do that. I said about a year ago that if we truly want to get this thing in line, we're going to have to fight another civil war, and it's going to be an internal one.
Yeah, I agree.
I hate to put it in those terms.
I agree, TJ.
But I mean, the only way that there's any structure will ever return to the black diaspora is for black men are just going to have to say, you know what, we're going to have to duke it out. You Simpson panders versus the guys who want actual structure, and family. We're going to have to duke it out, and whoever wins at that point, so be it. At least the war has been fought, but we're not there where we're willing to do that yet. And also, black men in general are not willing to let these women suffer and die.
Right. So basically, your logic is we're creating the chaos that we complain about.
To a degree, we have a group of men out here who are out here protecting this stuff. They're protecting it. They can't watch these women suffer and die, because we look at these hordes of women that we have, and we see our mothers.
That's a fair point.
Because we were raised by our mothers. We were raised. I was raised in a single parent household. The vast majority of black men are, and so we were indoctrinated since birth that we need to protect the single motherhood throne. But the reality is we need to destroy it. We absolutely need to destroy it.
Right.
And that means no fucking these single baby mamas. I know that's going to be hard to accept. You know what I mean? Because that's all that's out here, and men want to fuck. You're going to have to find your way to become more palatable to other groups of women. We're not going to like this. There are groups of white women that white men don't want. They might serve us well. Those women might serve us well.
I agree.
I'm just saying. I mean, what's the alternative? What's the alternative at this point?
Right. Shout out to my man. Give me 1 minute, guys. I'm going to let y'all speak. Give me 1 minute. Let me read this super chat. Shout out to International Quiet Storm. Great discussion, gentlemen, for the 20. And also shout out to Greg with Scotland. He's the #1 sponsor. He said, you see phony black female content creators who put a foot to get into the men, then flip and try to take over the black manosphere. I think this would be a good question for you to respond to, TJ. I'm not TJ, to Exhale, Fly Guy Way. And then Peaceful Life, I want you to talk about relationship capitalism and how it responds to TJ's pronouncement. Go ahead, Fly Guy.
Coach, before I go to work, can I just say something real quick?
Yes, sir. Go ahead, Orange.
Just real quick before I get ready to work.
Yes,
to
sir.
add to the great brother just talked, just real quick, like I totally agree with him on the Civil War point. And I think to even a greater extreme is that women have to be in just like remember that infamous clip where that woman came on Kevin Samuel's show and was like, oh, he basically said like, well, why aren't you with black men anymore? And she basically admitted that because we're not under no tyranny no more, no slavery or any of that no more. We free now. So basically by black women's logic, they got to be under just dismay and suppression and go through it like themselves and just like we got to go. Apparently, we got to go pre-civil rights for them to even want to actually commit to us, which is sad. So is that what it has to come down to?
Yes,
So that's
they're
all.
not going to survive this.
Yes,
our women will not survive what's coming because they're too stupid to understand what's coming. And I tell any woman that's married, do you know working in that female dominated cesspool, do you know how many women that the married women, which is very few of us, that sit around and talk about all the time about plotting on how they need to leave their husbands? And I tell these women, I keep telling them, you don't want to be out here.
Right.
You don't want to be out here. I said, you want to leave your husband because you want to go be a hoe? Really?
At all times of work.
I'm going to report you. Motherfucker, fuck this job. I can go work someplace else. I can go work anywhere in the country. Give a damn. You can't threaten me. And they don't like that either, because I told my department director, I'm not afraid of you firing me. The hell. I can go anywhere. I said, man, I can go anywhere in the country. I'm not beholden to this damn state or this city. I can go anywhere in this country. I said, I'm not going to sit here and walk around here afraid because some woman might say something or they don't like this, that, then kiss my ass. I say nobody walking around here holding their tongue for me. I'm not going to hold my tongue for them. And I told my director, if you got a problem with that, I said, you can exercise your right to separate from me from this department whenever you see fit.
Hey, just to piggyback on what you're saying, bro, when you
people don't, and here's the thing, people think not everybody on YouTube is being provocative for the sake of being provocative. I mean my shit in real life. I don't need to exaggerate it. I don't need to embellish it. People who have interacted with me outside of this space, they will tell. Kosher will tell you. The way I talk here, I talk to him the same way.
Yes, sir. We do, no doubt. That's true. Listen, real quick, Fly Guy, I want you to, I'm gonna let you chime in, Gary. But hold tight, I want to hear from Peaceful Life and Fly Guy. Fly Guy, I want you to add to Gary's conversation, then Peaceful Life, and then back to Gary. Go ahead.
Wait, I thought you wanted me to answer the question that somebody just asked about basically gas infiltrating the manosphere. Okay, before I get up out of here.
Any of that, and you take any question. Go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
Yeah. As to the question about gas infiltrating the manosphere, even though it's kind of like retroactive, it's kind of like a little bit of a Monday morning quarterback type of deal. We have no choice but to look at a lot of these guys that came into the manosphere in this, like the second towards the end of Manosphere 1.0 as guys that were sleeper cell agents, that these guys came here with an agenda. You notice that most of them, once they got to a certain threshold of subscribers, is right when they flipped, without it being like any type of threat or them getting flagged down or anything to where it would be pragmatic for them to flip. They just automatically just flip. There's a lot of guys like Ask Nathaniel, C Boogie that flip. A lot of these guys flip. These guys came here with that agenda. A lot of these guys that you see, because I was the first one to sound the alarm bell way back in 2015. I was telling people like, hey, like, what do y'all think this is when these channels pop up overnight and they got like these super clear 4K cameras and all of that? A lot of that stuff was expensive as a used car back then. So it's like, how do these people pop up? And you can tell that they broke. You can hear the damn fire alarm, the smoke detector beeping in the background. You can look at their clothes. You can look at how they grew. You can tell that otherwise they broke, but they got all of this super expensive equipment. Where are they getting this equipment from? These guys, a lot of these guys were sent here as sleeper cell agents to try to derail the manosphere. We have no choice but to look at it like that. But I was trying to tell guys, now guys see what I was talking about. Especially with the way we just called BGS up last week. Now guys see what I was talking about.
You're on mute, Kelsher.
Okay, gotcha. What do you mean call him up? What do you mean by that?
Oh, well, he was on a panel. He decided to come on a panel with Machismo and Saul, and then so they called me to the panel. So I came to the panel, And a lot of times, when I'm dealing with BGS, I try not to go back and forth with them too much because BGS is really good at filibustering. BGS is really good at waffling and meandering to make you even forget the point that you asked them in the first place. So I just try to like break him down with questions. And so he was like talking about a lot of people don't know what the red pill is, and they asked, so a lot of guys I asked, why are you even here? And I told him, I said, well, a lot of people should be asking you that shit. And so then he went back and forth with me a little bit. I said, well, what about all the women that you brought to the space? And he was like, well, who? Name names. And I said, well, Crimson Q is one of them. May is one of them. And so when I got to May, he was like, oh, well, May been blocked. Now, if you know who I'm talking about the woman with all of these different aliases because a news reporter called her Sharika. What is her last name? I forgot what her last name is, but they said that her first name was Sharika, but she goes by the name of Maymuna. So we don't even know who this woman really is, but that's what a news reporter in Georgia called her, was Sharika. So she's got all of these different aliases and all of this, and she was at a Medicaid rally last year, trying to get them not to take defund Medicaid on the state level. And so now this year, all of a sudden she's focused on the manosphere. And so it's kind of weird. I pointed out that how would somebody with a premature daughter with a respiratory problem be focused on a life and death situation like healthcare? All of a sudden now she's worried about what black men are saying on YouTube. That's really weird. And so she's talking about destroying all the channels in the space and getting rid of hate speech and all of that, which is not really hate speech. But you can tell that she's an online provocateur. And BGS is supposed to be in the space. And he told us, oh, well, I've been blocked her. But then the next day, he was in a comment section talking to her in a comment section. If you have somebody blocked on YouTube, you can't see their responses to comment to them. And he even did a book review based off of a book that she asked him, did he read? So that's kind of strange behavior for somebody that you claim that you have blocked. So you sitting here playing footsie with online provocateurs that trying to take all our spaces down, but you claim to be in the space. That's how we caught them up.
Gotcha. I see your point. Peaceful life. How would you like to answer everything, brother? Go ahead.
Well, I mean, I've always had my opinion that a great majority of the men that are in the manosphere are frauds, absolute fakes and frauds, because they really don't advocate for what's best for men. And once they get to a certain level of profitability, I like General Tito would say, and the other brother would say, they change the messaging because it becomes a money grab situation.
Right.
And the way you can tell out what they're made of is you can watch these online beefs or these YouTube beefs, and you can really identify the weasel behavior for many of these guys, what they'll do for profit, the one-upsmanship, the doxing to get to the top of the food chain. But in terms of women in our spaces, I've always said that when you start integrating women into men's spaces, it changes the whole conversation, because now you see that some of these guys are not really standing on the principle of what they believe in, and they start pandering to these women, diverting. They try to change it up so they don't look like they hate women or whatever else. And that's the fundamental problem that you have when a lot of these men's spaces. It's really, really easy to divert the message or to create chaos or just distractions. And then that's a huge problem. But back to what Brother TJ was talking about these women and what's really going on out here. And I always say comparison is the thief of joy, and envy is more powerful than greed. A lot of these women, especially now, I think that the hammer's already dropped. The chaos is already here. They might be at the job and other places talking about cheating on their husband. That's social media self-esteem. That's because we have an incredible amount of simps in their DMs, bigging them up. There's the illusion of options. And I just did address this in the video. The belief that they have all these options. There's a man tree out there for them to pick men from. There's a bunch of men out there waiting for them. I mean, they're taught that by the work husbands or whatever else, the D-boys or whatever else. And when they get out here, they end up like Tia Mowry. But the truth of the matter is a lot of these women nowadays, the damage is done. Many of these chicks are on medication. I see them all the time. They're desperate for a man. They still have social media entitlement or fake entitlement. But if you really know how many chicks are popping pills to get by every month right now, inflation is wiping them out. They're basically surviving on little small donations and high credit card debt. That's really what you have right now. It's just all fraud. It's just a pump fake.
Right.
They're hoping that men are stupid enough to break and come back and start sponsoring them. You see what I'm saying? That's why you see all these feminists crying about they want a provider man and all this. I'm like, you're a feminist. You've been community booty the last 20 years. All of a sudden you want provider man? What the hell is going on? So
right. I want to share. So I'm going to ask something real quick, and then I want to hear from Black Men Unfiltered. I don't have an issue with a woman being in a man's space if her message is parroting what we're trying to push as traditional men, and she's not trying to get us to subvert. There have been some good women that supported me. They were solid women. We know the women many times are very emotional, though, and that's the problem, I think, what you guys are talking about. And when you say something they don't like, then they disappear and stop supporting. You know, you got guys that do it too, but I don't think the guys do it as much. And so I don't really have a problem. There's a good sister. They chopping it up. They respect what men are trying to bring to the conversation, and they support us by adding to what we're trying to push. I don't have a problem with it. The problem is when they come in and try to change the message, and then men start tap dancing or getting scared and won't say nothing because now they give them money, so they won't say nothing against it. I'm like what Black Men Unfiltered, TJ said. If you support me, fine. If you don't, then I don't give a shit. You're not gonna make me tap dance. Okay. You're not gonna make me tap dance over no damn money. If you want to support me for telling the truth, then fine. I'm not gonna say anything to hurt nobody because that's not my style. But I think sometimes men get afraid and they won't say anything anymore, and they let the money compromise their principles and their morals. And I think you're right about that peaceful life real quick. TJ, you said something else, and I want to hear from Black Men Unfiltered real quick. I want to play on this clip again what Black Men Unfiltered is saying. And also, peaceful life, you talk about relationship capitalism. I think you begin to see more men capitalize on how much power they have. And they're not letting women dictate to them anymore. And I don't think they like the fact that men are changing the narrative. But hold tight.
Over the last 30 years, Black men have been telling you to leave it alone, to let it go, that those women were out there harming you, that you were harming yourself for the advancement of white women's issues. But you hard-headed fuckers decided to ignore your men who had your best interest at heart. But for some reason, you thought the white woman and the white man had your best interest at heart. And you still operate today like they got your best interest at heart, and you know damn well they don't. You know they don't.
TJ, you talked about the Dixiecrats. I want you to expound on that a little bit. The Dixiecrats and the Republican Party and how it's your fears of black folks being swooned by Republicans. I want you to talk about that real quick. Hold on.
At Elements Massage, we know that now more than ever, it's important to prioritize your self-care. Whether you're looking...
They oppose civil rights. The Dixiecrats formally emerged as a political entity in 1948, and they broke away from the Democratic Party to form a states' right.
Philadelphia, baby. Hoot, hoot. Philly, 1787. We have the Constitutional Convention going on, and we were really, at first, amending the Articles of Confederation, and eventually we tossed that bad boy out and we started.
Abolish slavery, the 14th Amendment and the 15th Amendments, which all ended slavery and guaranteed citizenship to former. At least they were going to get some social gains within this country, so they aligned with that party. So this whole notion that the Republican Party is the party of anti-slavery, that's not entirely true. That is not entirely true, but we're going to look at that. And, you know, we in this whole notion that the Democratic Party is the party of slavery, that's not entirely true either. Yes, there was a changing and switching of ideals within these parties, and that was primarily because of the Dixiecrats. These are Southern Democrats. They call them Dixiecrats. And which I'm going to get into that in just a second here. So people, when you're talking about the Republican Party today and what they are, that is who the Republican, I don't care what nobody tells you. The Republican Party today is not the Republican Party of Lincoln. They're not. Believe it or not, the Republican Party of Lincoln is actually the damn Democratic Party, which we're going to, the modern day Democrat Party, which we're going to find out now. And neither one of these motherfuckers, the devil and Satan, that's what these parties are. And you're about to see why I call them the devil and the Satan. Neither one of them had our best interest. Neither one of them. We were politically expedient for them at the time. They played in our face then. They're playing in our face now. They finessed us then. They're finessing us now.
All right. So the question is, Are current modern day politics beneficial, in your opinion, for black men? What's your take on what TJ said on Black Men Unfiltered? And then Peaceful Life and Contract. Go ahead.
Absolutely, man. Thank you for allowing me to be here, brother. Sorry for my tardiness. But I agree with TJ. Most of the time I do.
That's fair.
You know, one of the things that I always like to say and I use constantly and consistently is Galatians 4:16. Do you hate me because I tell the truth?
Yes, sir.
And I think that we as men need to understand that and put that in our vocal cords every day. Because me personally, excuse my French, I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna tell the truth. I don't care if my mama don't like it. I don't care if my sister don't like it. I don't care if the old lady at my job don't like it, the old hoe at my job. I don't care. I'm going to say it. I'm going to speak it. Right. I'm always going to do it. I've always done it. And anybody that knows me and been on this journey with me in my YouTube journey knows that I'm going to say what I mean and mean what I say. I'm going to stand on business. I ain't backing off nothing.
Yes, sir. Respect.
So it is good to be amongst gentlemen who do the same. Yes, but TJ is right on point. I think that black women are the most they're the most persuade group of individuals ever. The white women said, we want feminism. We want feminism. And the way that we're going to get it, we're going to use these black women to do it. And once the black women took over it, because black women have a takeover spirit, they took over it and the white women bagged up, went back to their houses, had more babies, got married. Their marriage rate went up. Ours went down. When they wanted to do abortions, guess what happened? They said, Margaret Sanger said, listen, we're going to put all those clinics, we're going to put them in the urban neighborhoods. We're going to put them in Harlem. The first one was in Harlem, New York. We're going to put that one there. Then we're going to put them all in the urban areas. You're not going to go into no well-lit, well-organized, well-financed neighborhood or community and see one of those, right? And so they use black women to do all these things. And then on top of that, you know what? We need to make more money. Here, I'm in Texas. Oh, God have mercy on my soul. I'm here in Texas.
Right.
And in Texas, they use child support here as a retirement fund for government officials of Texas when they retire. Let me say it again. If you come here to Texas, and not only if you have a 12-year-old son and she decides she wants child support after 12 years, they retro back those 12 years. So you're 12 years in the rears here in Texas. And they use that money to fund the retirement fund for retired government officials. And so what happens is, we're going to think about this. What person wouldn't do it? They made them an offer they could not refuse. They told black women, all you have to do is get that man out that house. And this is what we're going to do for you. We're going to put it on the table. We're going to give you free housing. We're going to give you a food voucher where you can go buy as much food as you want. And we're going to continue to do that monthly. We're going to continue to do your housing monthly. Where other people are paying $1,000 a month, you'll pay $12 a month. We're going to give you food. We're going to give you housing. Don't worry about your kids getting sick. We're going to give them Medicare, Medicaid. All we want you to do is get that nigga out the house.
Right.
And so it starts there. The feminism, it started there. And then now it's at an all-out war. Women are saying, I don't need a man. You got Ebony K. Williams promoting single motherhood, telling women that they should have their own babies without a man, which that process costs us over $100,000 to do. So I don't know I don't, if we're looking at statistics and numbers here, I don't know no woman that's making $100,000 or $1 million a year that can go do 50,000 in vitros every appointment, because Ebony K. Williams broke down the numbers, 50,000, 80,000. The more months you put into it, the money doubles, 160,000, so on and so forth. I don't know no woman working at Wendy's that can do that. So I think that you're poisoning the water when women get on these social media platforms and telling women to do something that some women can't even afford to do. They're not even making as much as men. Let's start there. You're not even making as much as men. And then you think you can afford to go get an $80,000 baby put up in you and then have that baby and then be a single mother by yourself. I'll land my plane because I
Well,
can. Go ahead.
Yeah, and that goes back to the false narrative that black women are doing better than black men. Go ahead, Gary Scott. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you like this. I love what he just brought up because I have been trying to educate everyone, not just men, on this. For every child support order, and I'm very familiar with Texas because Ken Paxton, he's the ultimate slave driver down there. That's the Attorney General for Texas. So all the federal dollars that the states get over child support, and he's on record saying they get a lot of money. Ken Paxton said they get a lot of money. He said it funds 2/3 of their budget, just the federal grants they get from the child support agency. And the only way that they get the grants, guys, they have to put men on child support regardless if the child support order is needed or not. They have to put them on. That's the requirement to get the federal money. Mm-hmm. So they say, hey, we got this money sitting here, Texas. If you want it, the stipulation is you got to institute a child support program and you got to put your men on child support. Well, Texas goes say, well, shoot, that sounds like a good deal. We're going to institute it. And every year since 1975, they've been getting these federal grants and they've been snowballing every year. Now that makes men slaves because when that money comes into the state, right, through the Attorney General's office, that money goes straight to the state treasury, the same place where the child support judges take their pay from. So how is that not a huge conflict of interest? And I have been to the Sixth Circuit Court of Appeals in the federal fighting this, guys. This all of us need to be filing federal lawsuits on this. And the Chevron case is a huge win for us because it's going to afford us to get jury trials in our family court cases. Alan.
Go ahead, Peaceful Life. Go ahead. And then
no, I'm listening with him, and I think both. I support both brothers' message. And me, I'm a big believer in capitalism, relationship capitalism. And my thing is to throw a monkey wrench into all this is a non-participation mentality. And I encourage brothers always, especially the youngest brothers, to level up for some level of freedom, financial freedom, focus on your purpose, your hobbies, and travel and enjoy your life. They got a time clock on them. We don't. And I think that's why we see the panic and the fear right now. It's because the young men are not really participating like they used to. They don't see any future. They don't see any marriages. They don't see, and it's part of what the brother's saying right now. You have these draconian laws that are destroying men, destroying their future, putting them in bondage to the state for kids they don't even see. So if the men are not going to participate, there's nothing they can do. And it's not like this is not the only option in town. I can jump on a flight tomorrow and be in Kenya somewhere and enjoy my life. I've been retired now for the past 3 years. I'm only 49 years old. I can go wherever I want to go. So I encourage the young brothers to look at the FIRE movement, look at financial freedom, early retirement. Capitalism is the answer. Enjoy your life. That doesn't mean, I'm not saying, I'm not promoting any movements or anything. Travel, enjoy your life. You do your hobbies outside the country. Meet people organically. Get away from the tourist area. Learn the language. Enjoy your life. Let them stay on ice. If they want to be radical, feminist, ball-busting women, let them sit on ice and let them age. Let all their eggs fall out. I don't care. That's their problem.
I'm going to ask you guys, because I know the contract.
Let them die. You're going to have to let them die.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, that's what you can't save all of them. God had to leave some back in the Exodus.
Yeah, that's their problem.
I totally agree. Contractor, real quick, and then TJ, I know you guys got to go. Peaceful Life, I'm grateful, man, that you spent time with me, man, talking about this. As you guys know, that Amber Rose now, guys, is aligned with Trump. Did you guys know about that? Amber Rose is now aligned with Trump. Hold on.
I'm going to tell you.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. I'm gonna tell you what's gonna happen, guys. I try to make light of any situation, but I'm gonna tell you what's gonna happen. Trump is going to look at Amber Rose and say, "Bring her here. I heard she's good with the pussy. Bring it to me." Okay. I want some of that rose, not the mechanical one, but the wet one. Okay, bring it to me. That's what's gonna happen. I'm gonna tell you what's gonna happen. So Yeah, he see Amber Rose naked, boy. She and Melania may be up out of there.
So
Yeah.
what's your take, real quick, TJ? I know, and then I want to hear from the contract before he go, and then TJ. But what's y'all take about Amber Rose aligning with Trump? Hold on, hold tight.
We voting Donald Trump, baby. America needs saving. America needs saving. We voting Trump, baby. November 5th, we going crazy. November 5th, we going crazy. Red pill popping, swerving in the Trump. Republican 4G, and Tifa knows what.
All right, so what y'all think about this, guys? What y'all think about this TJ and then contract? Go ahead.
November 5th, we going crazy. Come on.
I expect hoes to do what hoes do.
Okay, explain.
Amber Rose a hoe.
Exactly.
She filed on the money. I expect hoes to do what hoes do.
Okay.
I said on my stream that we spend most of the time reviewing culture. Black women, they're nothing but hoes. They're born, bred, raised to be hoes. I would say close to 90% of our women are not worth anything other than fucking, and most of the time they're not even good at that anymore. I'm telling you, I'm out. A black man until you married. I'm out here, brother. These motherfuckers can't even. They can't even top you off good no more.
Throw it back, can't look back, breathing hard, falling over. Can't do it. They want. Listen, man. When you use something for so long, it expires. Yes, and that's what I'm saying. Like, if you're in a house with no maintenance for a long time, shit falls apart, floors come up, pipes start to burst. And a lot of women are in houses that need to be condemned because they're not livable anymore. So sometimes that shit needs to be torn down. And most women are walking around here, they walking around here with condemned vaginas, and they need to be torn down.
They be torn down.
I don't think we have an appreciation.
People like, hold on, man. I want you to add. Contract got to go. I want to hear him real quick.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead, contractor. Go ahead. Contractor, go ahead, brother. I know you got to go.
All right, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Go ahead, brother. I know you got to go. Go ahead.
I'm going to say this.
All right.
From my experience, I've been here for 41 years, soon to be 42.
Yes, sir.
Everything I read in the Quran, the Torah, and the Bible has shown me these hoes have been hard-headed as hell from Genesis all the way to Revelations. Yes, and it ain't changing no time soon.
It ain't changing no time soon. I agree.
Amber Rose is going to do what Amber Rose is going to do because, you know, I'm pretty sure she heard about all that dough that Stormy got. She wants some too. You know? So at the end of the day, I agree with TJ. I also agree that the vast majority of our women are too slow to even see what's coming, and the vast majority, they won't make it. But that also goes back to what our Uncle D was talking about when he was like, get ready to step over them bodies. You got to let them go. Everybody who come with you can't go with you. Don't even try to drag them along because you can be dragging that hard-headed hoe uphill. It ain't worth it. You brothers be safe. Y'all have a productive week. I'm gone.
I appreciate it, man. Shout out to the International Quiet Storm. TJ, before you go, man, the attempted assassination of President Trump, will this galvanize the country and prove the point that people are going to push forward, seeing how wicked liberals are? Before you leave, brother. And thank you for being so gracious with your time. I know you just woke up, and I really appreciate you, man. We got to do this again. I'm going to come on your show at some point and support you as well, but I really appreciate you doing this, brother. Go ahead.
No problem. First of all, I can get a chance to say, what's up, BMU? We haven't talked in weeks.
Hey, you my guy, bro. Hey, we ain't got to talk in weeks. You still my brother. You know what I'm saying?
That white man, let me tell you something. That white man kicking my ass at that job right now, boy.
I know it, brother. I saw you. Hey, listen, if I ain't talking to you, I already know you at the oppressor's house. So don't worry about it.
Look, what did that movies in the movie they say? What's that? What's that? Inside Man. Remember the Denzel Washington when Inside Man, and then the old Jew man that was stealing all the Nazi stuff, and you know he talking about. They said, "Well, why you do it?" He said they just pay so well. That's what the white man is. He just I gotta go up in there because he just pays so well. He just pays so well. So I tell him any day of the week. Look, people don't believe I only work part-time. I mean, I'm only a part-time employee, but I'm in that joker 5 days a week.
Thank you, International. I appreciate that, brother.
Yep. So, but Coach, I forgot the fucking question.
I was saying, so real quick, the Quiet Storm sing all you guys cash apps. Kosher,
yeah, I just
BMU,
got mine, man. Thank you so much,
appreciate it.
Yeah, brother.
Thank you,
Quiet Storm,
man.
being
kind,
man.
man.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah, good looking out.
Appreciate it, man.
Go ahead.
But Kosher, listen. Will this galvanize the country? No. Will it galvanize? I think it would allow the closeted Trump supporters to come out. I think the brothers that were on the fence about supporting Trump will I think because now they see him like he Tupac and Biggie, you know what I mean? Like 50 and Tupac, they took 9 to the chest. Look, I'm expecting Trump to drop his version of Hit 'Em Up on Monday. First off, fuck your bitch and the click and claim. That's what I'm expecting for Donald Trump. Listen, those that this was a wrap anyway prior to this incident happening. But let me tell you something. I'm not saying that Trump has God's favor. I don't believe, I don't know. But Donald Trump, the way his cadences, his movement with his communication, when he's out in the crowd, he likes to shift his head. He likes to kind of move around. He's a little animated. If Donald Trump hadn't turned his head slightly, like he always did.
Right.
If he was a split second away from turning his head, Donald, we'll be talking about the assassination of Donald Trump.
Yes. Well, I'll challenge you by saying I think he does have God's favor, and I'll prove my point. God raises who we want to raise in these times. He raised King Cyrus. Go look at the story of King Cyrus. I believe Donald Trump is a modern-day King Cyrus.
Really?
Yes, sir.
Every man, you know what? Every man, if we're doing this biblically, because we could, I love that. If we're doing this from the purposes of a biblical perspective, every man in the Bible wasn't shit that God used. Let's say it again.
Exactly. I agree.
Every man that he raised up they weren't shit.
Right.
All right. From Noah to Moses to Samson to David. David was a man after God's own heart, and he still told Bathsheba, "Bring your ass here, God." So even if we look at it from a biblical perspective, but I also say God can use anybody. I agree with you on that, Kosher. But what's going to happen is on yesterday is what I said yesterday, and I'll say it again today, is that yesterday Donald J. Trump was handed the election on yesterday.
Somebody else said that. Real quick, your response to that, TJ. Go ahead and then Peaceful Life, and then
absolutely. Well, I believe it was over with before. Yesterday erased the doubt. Yesterday erased the doubt that we're going to see President Trump in November. You know what I mean? So, I thought it was in the bag already. You know what I mean? So for me, it didn't really move my thoughts about what was going to happen. This was I don't even know why we're even voting in November. This is when I say that this is going to be, I said prior to this incident, I told somebody, I said, this is going to be such a bloodbath, this election. And people were disagreeing with me. I said, this might be the first time since Reagan where we have a near 50 state sweep. Reagan damn near had in his second election, damn near took every state. I think he took 47 states. Reagan did in his second term, if I'm not mistaken. I was a kid back then, so but I believe Reagan took about 47 states. Donald Trump is going to do the same thing this time around, and that's because the Democrats fumbled this. They fumbled this big time. When they found out 2 years ago that Joe Biden was sick, they should have either had him resign or announced that he wasn't running again. And I told you, I said, Black Man of Filter, I don't know if you heard this earlier. I also said Donald Trump wouldn't be running if they would have treated him like they treated George W. Bush. George W. Bush is a war criminal. But they let him go. When they left office, they left him alone. If they would have gave Donald Trump the same courtesy and left him alone, he wouldn't have ran either.
Yeah, he said he wanted to relax. I know you got to go, TJ. I appreciate it, man. Thank you, brother. Love you. I'll be in the background. Peaceful Life. I know you got to go too, and then I'm going to hear from Black Man Unfiltered. Me and Gary will end it off. But before we end, any comments, anything to end, peaceful life before you go, man. Thank you, sir.
No, I think, like I said, I think that, to be honest with you, this election is over. We already know that. But I just wanted to stress really to the men that these women out here, I know they're still getting attention from simps. I know they're getting pumped and dumped. I know they're getting passed around. It's all a facade. If we really could calculate how many of these women are popping pills or medication to cope, you'd be surprised. Right. Sexual liberation was the worst thing that ever happened to women. To be pumped and dumped and passed over the left shoulder to the next man, to be vigorously and viciously pounded out, that takes a toll on a woman. Nobody's marrying them. Nobody's giving them a retirement plan. They don't want old Rufus to simp. It's like 360-degree L's. I mean, L's everywhere. So don't mind what these women say to you. When they get off of running their mouth on YouTube or social media, they head straight to the psychiatrist to get some mood stabilizers, some medication to help them sleep at night. Because they show videos on TikTok of these women crying themselves to sleep. So don't believe the facade, but I'm out of here.
All right, man. I appreciate it. Gary, real quick, I'm gonna ask you and my man, Black Man Unfiltered, we're gonna land the plane and take it to the king. But I'm gonna ask you guys a question real quick. Let's get back to Amber Rose real quick. And I showed this Gary and Black Man Unfiltered before you came on. I want you to tell me what you get from this image about Trump. And do you feel like this invigorated black folks or black men even more? So hold tight. Let me see. I'm going to play this clip real quick. Hold on.
Many men wish death upon me. Blood in my eye, darling, I can't see. I'm trying to be what I'm destined to be. And niggas trying to take my life away from me. I put a hole in the nigga for fucking with me. My back on the wall, now you, cause I'll come and take your life away. Many men, many men wish death on me, Lord. I don't cry no more. Don't look to the sky no more. Have mercy on me. These pussy niggas put money on my head. Go on, get your beef from motherfucker. I ain't Jay. I'm the diamond in the dirt that ain't been found. I'm the underground king, and I ain't been crowned. When I round, something special happen every time. I'm the greatest. Something like Ali in this prime. I walk the block with the bundles. I've been knocked on the humble. Swing the ox when I rumble. Show your ass from a gun. Gotta tip a nigga, go ahead. Lose your hate. Turn your back on me, get clapped and lose your legs. I walk around, gun on my waist, chip on my shoulder, try a bunch of clip in your face. Plus to this beef ain't no. Many men wish death upon me, Lord. I don't cry no more. Don't look to the sky no more. Have mercy on me and have mercy on my soul.
So shout out to the Quiet Storm. He sent me this. I was going to add this.
Send me that. Can you send me that, boy? Coach, email me that, brother. I'm going to blast that everywhere, bro. Email me that, man.
I'll send it to you, man. I'll send it to you.
Hey, brother. Hey, I like how he was walking across the field. I like the fact that on his man. Come on.
Well, I found this clip, and then I took other clips, and then I edited it. I re-edited it. But the song itself, the Quiet Storm gave it to me, but the actual clip itself, I took the clip from another clip and added the music the Quiet Storm gave me, and then, but man, it was perfect. It was spot on.
Send me what I just seen. Email that to me.
I'll send it to you. All right, go ahead. So go ahead, Gary. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, man. My closing remarks. I just hope everybody just heard what I was saying, and I think Trump is threatening to correct these issues, some of the issues that I brought up, and guys. If anybody needs help, swing them my way. I teach men how to be pro se litigants in court. I teach them how to fight in court without the use of lawyers. And I'm 5-0 against lawyers. Nope, 5-1. My federal case got dismissed, but I'm still 30 days away from being able to take it to the Supreme Court, just like the Chevron case. But That's the U.S. Supreme Court, Washington D.C. And so, man, when you look at Trump, you know, it was 11 years ago, man. I turned Republican, and when I look back at it, I can't even believe I voted Democrat. Like, what was I thinking? What was wrong with me? You know, and all it is just ignorance. Ignorance and emotion, the total opposite of being what a man is.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was raised with a dominant grandmother.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I was raised with a very dominant grandmother she would grab a 38 out the cabinet and jump off the porch to protect us, you know. And my granddaddy was ruthless too, but he wasn't the vocal piece of the family. She was the loudmouth. She was the she was always raising hell on the whole block. And so when people referred to my home, they would say that's Miss Greenhouse. They wouldn't say that's Willie Green's house.
Oh wow, really?
You see what I'm saying? Oh, that's Miss Green, because she was the vocal piece in the neighborhood. With, you know, my grandfather was more meek and he was strength, and he was not emotional. You couldn't get him he wasn't rattled easily. And with the handling of affairs in our family, grandmother would be the one to step in, take care of them, but in her own emotional way. And she was traumatized as a child and having to deal with certain issues of the family. And granddaddy would act like no, it was peace by the river, no matter what was going on, you know. And instead of us being ushered towards grandfather in the way his mannerisms were, we took on we adopted how we seen our grandmother take care of stuff, and that was wrong. The military will straighten me out. When I went to the military, that's what got me, and playing football. So,
playing football, right. I want to show you guys this real quick before we leave, guys, and I'll send this to you as soon as I gotta cut it, and I'll send it to you, brother. But many men identify with Trump do 50 Cent real quick. I'm gonna show you guys this clip real quick after we show y'all the Amber Rose part. And then while so many black men identify with Trump, hold tight.
What's up? Red, white, and blue, mega nation, throw it up. Black, white, and brown, all about the Trump. Democrat party gon' take your freedom. Indicting our president cause they can't beat it. It's a two-tier justice system. Put America first, be the victim. FJB, 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 FJB. Let's go, Brandon, sing it. We voting Donald Trump, baby. Donald Trump, baby. America needs saving. America needs saving. We voted Trump, baby.
So let me ask you a question. I'm gonna get this part. Black man, you just came unfit. You came up. What's your take on Project 2025? Is that an imminent threat in your opinion, or is what we have now currently a threat to democracy?
What we have currently now is a threat to democracy. When I saw Joe Biden sitting his half-dead ass in the lawn of the White House with all these LGBTQAI plus people dancing around naked with rainbows on, with shirts off. If you've never seen it in any presidency where a man allowed the gay people to take over the White House lawn out there kissing each other in the mouth, it's in a bad way right now. So Project 25 has a lot of things, especially when it comes to birthing children. It's going to start holding women accountable. Oh, yes. When I read, I said, oh, yeah, this is why the women are saying hell no, because it's going to hold them accountable. But yeah, so, I mean, I think that where we at right now, shit, it can't get, this is worse as ever been.
Yeah, it's the worst it's ever been, man. And then yesterday seen that the attempted assassination, they've been hounding this man, for, before COVID and even after COVID. And I think they're doing it because they're trying to continue to push their agenda, to push for a one world order. Bush said it's going to happen. It's going to happen. We can't stop prophecy. It's going to happen at some point. It might happen. I think it's going to happen in our lifetime, black man, unfiltered, sadly. But whether the one world order happens in our lifetime or not, Trump symbolizes, in my opinion, old school masculinity, where men were men. You don't have to agree with all his antics. You know, he could be a little off on some things, but he's a maverick. He says what he wants to say. He means what he won't back down. He stands 10 toes down. And many don't like it. Nothing they do can shake him. And that's why I believe that he is a King Cyrus. Regardless of whatever, God raised up kings. He did it with Nebuchadnezzar. He did it with other kings in history. And like they say, for such a time as this, I believe Trump is the King Cyrus. I'm going to show you this real quick why so many identify with Trump real quick. 50% believes black men identify with Trump. Tell me what you think.
I see them identifying with Trump. I see them identifying with Trump unless they got RICO charges. I see them identifying with Trump.
So what's your take on them identifying with Trump because of the RICO charges?
I think men identify with Trump. Let me tell you something. One key thing that really woke me up, man, is when I started making a little money, right? When I started, my salary went up, and when I seen how I was being taxed, that was the first indicator of me changing, right? And so I not that it's all about money, but you look at 50 Cent, he's a businessman. You look at the woes he's had with his own children turning against him, right? Man, bro, we tired of this. And these turning our boys in the little weaklings and setting them up to treat their dad just like their kids, like the baby mama treats us. And these kids are hating their father. And so we see Trump as somebody who we identify with. We see him being drugged through the judicial system, accused of things that were way beyond the statute of limitations, and charged with a crime that's the first of its kind. Nobody else have been charged with it. We see him being marched through, so we identify with that. We identify with being railroaded through the system, And so, yeah, I believe that's one aspect where black men and men in general are just identifying with Trump because he's a masculine man. This man,
right. He's masculine, right?
He masculine man. He likes women. He likes how women feel. He ain't going the other way. He got 2 or 3 baby mamas, I think. I mean, he's kind of a typical masculine man who stand on business. And that's what we love, man. We want a man that stand on. We don't care if he really our enemy. At least we know who he is. We know him. We can negotiate. We can make a deal. We ain't ask you to like me. I ain't ask you to get all fuzzy with me. Let's come to the table. Let's do business. And that's what we see in Trump. We see a business guy. We see a guy that at least we don't have to like each other, but let's make a deal. Let's make a truce. And that's what kind of man we need vouching for us in the world. He's going to make peace with the other nations, man.
Right. And people respect him because he is the last vestige of masculinity. All these people talking about the felonies and the RICO charges or whatever that is. Many people just see it as a smear campaign, smear tactic. Many see it as a smear tactic. Go ahead.
Oh, no doubt, man.
Let me show you guys this real quick, and then the last question, and we're gonna end it real quick. Hold tight.
Many men wish death upon me, Lord. I don't cry no more. Don't look to the sky no more. Have mercy on me.
So 50 Cent used this guy as a way to push his agenda, but also to validate Trump. You think this gonna get steam? What's y'all take on that? And also the Republican that tried to take his life because he was about to be assassinated by a Republican. But go ahead.
I'll let my man have the last word.
Go ahead, brother.
Because but man, I think.
Go ahead, man.
I think what 50 Cent and other artists are doing is we're taking this beyond the emotional conversation of race. Right. We're taking it beyond. Say, listen, man, we love this country. This is our home. Yes, we've been through a lot of BS, but we believe we can make this country the best that we can make it. You're never going to stop anybody from being racist. But look at 50 Cent. He's made it. He's living good. He's not a slave. He's able to spread wealth to his loved ones, right? Try to spread it to his son. But, you see what that situation came about. So, yes, we're pushing this beyond race, and we're pushing manhood. The war we have going on there is a gender war.
Yeah.
This is what we have. It's not race anymore. It's feminism against masculinity. And masculinity is gonna win out regardless. But we gotta put these simps and panderers to rest. because they're going to destroy the world, man. They're going to destroy the country.
Right.
Because women love simps. That's who Eve was talking to in the garden. She talked to a simp.
Yeah,
and he lied to her.
Yeah, he was definitely simping.
Yeah.
All right, but listen, I
Pandering to her.
definitely pandering. Real quick, what you got out this show, Black Man on Fifth? I know you came in late, man, but the whole Trump fiasco, but then also with him being attempted to be assassinated by a Republican, which proves that he's not a Republican. But go ahead before I let you go.
Exactly. I think yesterday, what you saw was an attempt to take the life of. I think anybody that has any purpose in life, if Martin Luther King had a purpose, took him out. JFK took him out. Took Robert out. Right, his brother, right after him. They took Malcolm X out. Anybody that has any power to pull things in their direction, man, they got to get rid of them. And I said yesterday, and I know this ain't sexy and people not gonna like it, but I don't give a damn. I think yesterday when that person missed Donald Trump and they didn't say the former president Donald Trump was assassinated, them Democrats were behind the curtain saying shit.
Right, I believe that. Yeah, because there were folks on Facebook, man, saying, man, you had just one job. I was appalled, man.
Yep,
you had just one job.
Yep, they would have loved to be saying rest in peace to our former president, but no. He stood up. He put that fist in the air with that blood on his face. They took a picture with that American flag over his head. It is over.
That was powerful, man. It was like not only powerful, but it was iconic. But man, listen, Trump got something supernatural. That's supernatural, brother. You can't deny it, man. Because at one point, I thought Trump was just playing WWE. What do you say to the critics that say they staged it and it was fake? What do you say to your critics, even though?
I think that anything that's real, look at all the people in the past. The man that created the car that could put water in it, they killed him. They said he was crazy. Jaguar Wright talked about Diddy, and then shit happened. Then they saying she's still crazy. Anybody that tells the truth or anybody that has any seriousness, man, they all crazy. For the people out there that are saying that this was fake, okay, well shit, if it is fake, they did a really good job, and Trump gonna be president again. It works either way. It's damn if you do, damn if you don't, because Joe Biden has already shown us that he is not mentally capable for 4 years to be president. You damn sure don't want Kamala Harris being president. Oh, goddamn, we are I heard the African president say, we're working with Russia to learn tactical skills, how to be tactical, and we're working together as a team. He said the vice president of the United States came here asking us about gay rights.
Right.
So you definitely don't want her to be the president. So I mean,
I agree. I agree.
It's getting bad, but like I said again, Trump will be president. It's gonna be a landslide, man. It's gonna be a landslide.
If he don't, brother, it's gonna be World War III. If he don't, it's gonna be, they're gonna turn
exactly. And a lot of people, like I said, them Democrats are pissed because they said, "God damn it, you had one job to do."
Yeah.
And they was rooting for that shooter. I promise you that.
What do you think prompted this shooter that was 20 to, do you think he was egged on by some people in the deep state? And so tell me how.
Oh, absolutely. That's that Manchurian candidate shit.
What do you mean? Explain to the audience.
Manchurian candidate is when you program somebody to do something against their will or do something they would normally do. Mentally, you screw with their brain, you screw with their mind, you give them keywords, and you can say words to them and things to them that make. I saw Candace Owens talking about this yesterday. That you could say to them that makes them go crazy, make them want to do something crazy.
Right. I like what T. King said, man. I think that's the part of the Feminist Manifesto that goes to put a woman at the helm by any means, and they're doing everything in their power to destroy traditional masculinity, and that's why they don't like Trump, and that's why they don't like what Trump is trying to utilize. Real quick before I let you go, what's going on in Texas, man? What are you seeing from Texans over this? You're in Texas, and then I'm gonna end the stream.
Well, the people, you were chopping up a little bit, but I heard the first part. But the people here in Texas, they love Trump, brother. They love Trump, man. I've never seen this many. Last time Trump got elected, man, a lot of people weren't talking like this, but I've never seen this many black men say they voting for Trump. And listen, it's everywhere. I'm voting for Trump. and all these other people like Roland Martin and all these other people that's rooting for Biden, bro, it is over. I seen D.L. Hughley on TMZ talking about we got a strong black woman to take the reins if Biden loses.
Oh,
what?
Oh my goodness. He didn't say
And
that,
so,
did he, man?
he did. I lost all respect for D.L. Hughley. He said we got a strong black woman that can come in and take for Joe Biden. He said a lot of men, because George Clooney, the actor, the white actor George Clooney, everybody knows who George Clooney is. George Clooney said he can no longer support a mentally inept man for president. So he's going to go with Trump. And D.L. Hughley had something to say about it. He said, well, you ain't the man that you was on Ocean's 11. That has shit to do with the presidency. And so, you know, he was trying to be funny, but at the same time, he's upset. He said, I'm tired of talking about it. I'm tired of talking about it because we got a strong black woman in there that would take over the White House and do a great job. Okay. If Kamala Harris becomes president, we already the laughing stock of the world now.
Right.
So yeah,
right. No,
it is
no,
what
I
it
agree.
is, brother.
No, I agree. We're at the laughing stock. Let's look at this real quick. How would you respond to Joe Biden's half-assed response to Trump's attempted assassination? Let's look at this real quick. Hold tight, and then tell me what you think about this, because his response was pathetic. But and then we're gonna end this because I gotta go.
Okay.
Let me see if I can find it. Let me see if I can pull it up. Hold on.
Because I saw it, man. So
yeah. And thank you, man, once again, brother, for coming through. I appreciate that.
Oh, absolutely, man. You know, I'm a man of my word, man. As soon as I got done, I said, yeah, let me get over here and get on with my brother, man.
No doubt, man. Appreciate it, man. All right, here we go.
Thoroughly briefed by all the agencies in the federal government as to the situation, based on what we know now. I have Donald. He's with his doctors. Apparently he's doing well. I plan on talking to them shortly, I hope, when I get back to the telephone. Look, there's no place in America for this kind of violence. It's sick. It's sick. It's one of the reasons why we have to unite this country. We cannot allow for this to be happening. We cannot be like this. We cannot condone this. And so I want to thank the Secret Service and all the agencies, including the state agencies, that have been engaged in making sure that people, and we have more detail to come relative to other people maybe injured in the audience. I don't have all that detail. We'll make that available to you. I may be able to come back a little later tonight, but we'll put out a statement if I'm not able to if it's not convenient for you all. But the bottom line is the Trump rally was a rally that he should have been able to be conducted peacefully without any problem. But the idea that there's political violence or violence in America like this is just unheard of. It's just not appropriate. Everybody must condemn it. Everybody. I'll keep you informed, and if I'm able to speak to Donald, I'll let you know that as well.
All right. Before we end this, what do you think about that? Before I let you go, I got to get out of here.
Sit. Oh shit, man! Listen, the man was up there for a minute. The man, one of the presidents. If you think about it, one of the presidents of the United States was shot at, and you did a minute speech about you don't know nothing. The country's sick. I'm gonna call them when I get back to the telephone. He's just full of shit.
Right. No, I agree. A minute on that, and you know what the news media was saying? A shot was rang instead of saying attempted assassination of former President Trump.
Right.
Because they didn't want to be honest, man. You know, they wanted. It's all wired, man. When he was running for president the last time, the media, they're all in the same bed. It's all collusion. It's a lot of oligarchs behind the scene trying to destroy this country, man.
Right.
And it's unfortunate, man. But anyway, thank you, man. I love you, brother. I'm gonna end this stream, man. You take care.
All right, my brother. I love you, man.
Right.
Hey, you need me? Call me, brother.
All right, man. Take care, brother. Much love. All right, man. All right, guys. That was my man, Black Man Unfiltered, guys. We're gonna end this, man. I want to send a special shout out to everyone that donated. Shout out to the new member, Perfect Blackness. Shout out to the Orange Peel Nurse for the 20. Shout out to Top Gun for the 5. Shout out to Revelated, the Spirit of Variance for 5. Shout out to Great with Scotland for 10. Shout out to International Quiet Storm for 20. Shout out to Greg with Scotland again for 20, as he was the #1 sponsor. Guys, we're going to end this stream. This was a powerful show. Thank you guys for tuning in. It took me a while to put this thing together last night. But guys, we're going to end it. And remember that evil continues when good men stand back and do nothing. Thank you also for the International Quiet Storm for giving me that beat. And guys, we're going to end it here. I love you, brothers. I appreciate it. And guys, I'll be seeing you guys soon. I'm going to use the rest of the day to rest and get ready for tomorrow for work, man. So we'll talk, guys. See you guys soon. So thank you once again. And I'll see you guys soon.
When men fail to lead, the children rebel and the women take over.
Hit that like button and share this stream if you're not a beta male.
No better if we just let it be.
Give the people what they want.
Many men wish death upon me. Blood in my eye, darling, I can't see. I'm trying to be what I'm destined to be. And neither's trying to take my life away from her. I put a hole in the nigga for fucking with me. My back on the wall, now you. Cause I'll come and take your life away. Many men, many men wish death on me, Lord. I don't cry no more. Don't look to the sky no more. Have mercy on me. And these pussy niggas put money on my head. Don't get your beef from motherfucker. I ain't Jay. I'm the diamond in the dirt that ain't been found. I'm the underground king, and I ain't been crowned. When I round, something special happen every time. I'm the greatest, something like Ali in this prime. I walk the block with the bundles, I've been not gonna humble. Swing the ox when I rumble, show your ass from a gun. Gotta tip a nigga, go ahead, lose your head. Turn your back on me, get clapped and lose your legs. I walk around, gun on my waist, chip on my shoulder, try a bunch of clip in your face. Pussy, this beef ain't no. Many men, many men wish death upon me, Lord. I don't cry no more. Don't look to the sky no more. Have mercy on me, have mercy on my soul. Somewhere my rock.
Disrupt the lives of every person who calls this country home. The Department of Education would be eliminated, cutting students off from civil rights protections and ending essential Title I funding for K-12 schools. The Department of Justice would go on a murdering spree. It would rush to use the death penalty and expand its use to even more people while circumventing due process protections. Project 25 not only calls for national book bans in schools, but also creates a list of banned words for the federal government that would be deleted from, quote, every federal rule, agency regulation, contract, grant, and piece of legislation that exists.
Why politicians lie?
You want to be mad at, but you ain't mad at Trump. Man, shut up, coon. What you got to say about Project 2025? Have you heard of Agenda 47? Say what? Agenda 47. Nah. It's the actual platform that Trump is going to push when he becomes president. It's listed on his official campaign website. Project 2025 is not to be found there. Matter of fact, Project 2025 was created by a conservative think tank named the Heritage Foundation. It's supposed to make it illegal to be Has homeless. nothing to do with Trump. Trump has neither endorsed nor supported this platform. He has his own. But I saw on BET. I don't care what any Hollywood elite or BET Awards show hosted by Taraji J.P. Henson have told you about Project 2025. It is not a talking point of President Trump's campaign, nor is it something that he's interested in. It's just another tool to fearmonger you and to just continue to vote for the same people over and over again and never breaking the cycle of chaos that we see within the black
Watch
community.
Sleepy Joe call Trump vice president. It's time for Joe to go in 2024.
I wouldn't have picked Vice President Trump to be vice president, but I think she was not qualified to be president. So let's start there.
I haven't got a brain, only straw.
How can you talk if you haven't got a brain?
I don't know. But some people without brains do an awful lot of talking, don't they?
Yes, I guess you're right.
Politics is like a big game of decision-making. It's how people organize themselves and make choices about how to run their community or country.
Follow me, baby.
The elders are old and out of touch. I have the power to help you become the better version of yourself. Listen to me. I know what's best for you. I am the Snake Whisperer.